Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you survived Halloween evening okay. What a dandy we've got for you coming up. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And Phyllis, do I dare ask who you think is going to win this showdown?
I like Drew Pearson's statement. This is going to be a classic game because of the pride and revenge involved in knowing that Dallas likes to play under pressure. They're competitive. Who else but Dallas?
I know where I go.
And I don't care who he thinks. I mean, I know who he thinks.
All right, competitive pressure, no doubt about it. This game will be played like a championship game. And with two rookies in the secondary, I wouldn't want to have people like that in the big game.
Irv, I'll talk to you over here after this show.
I'll take the Eagles.
Okay.
Let me change the subject for a moment.
Okay.
Let me show you somebody that both teams could use today, but he's only a sophomore in college. But he is a great one. It was Georgia yesterday afternoon trying to climb back up those rankings. And here he was, Buck Bellew, the quarterback of the Bulldogs, going to Norris Brown. That gave Georgia an early lead, and here he comes. Herschel Walker, he dominated the afternoon for Georgia, powering for 112 yards on 23 carries. And every time you looked up, he seemed to be going into the end zone. 6 more. Herschel, how many touchdowns you score?
I had 4 touchdowns and 100 and whatever yardage, but I didn't play with about a quarter and a half the whole game. And I think if you look at that, you can tell that I still perform real well.
But don't concede him the Heisman Trophy, because out west there's another great running back. Number 33, Marcus Allen. Yesterday against Washington State, he rushed for 289 yards on 44 carries. And he's already looking ahead.
Well, we recognize what's ahead of us, and it is a tough task, and we're just going to go out and try to do the best we can each week. We got California next, so that's going to be a tough opponent up in Cal.
And yesterday in Newton, Mass., Boston College gave Pittsburgh a scare. All-American Danny Marino goes to John Brown with a 14-yard score. Second quarter, Marino again. This time he goes to Dwight Collins on a 32-yarder. Boston College will play it tough at home. Late in the game, their quarterback, Doug Flutie, went to Rob Ricard for a pair of touchdowns. Pitt just holding on, 29-24. So we have to make Pittsburgh number 1. Clemson number 2. They score 82 points yesterday against Wake Forest. The Trojans are back to number 3. Georgia 4 and Texas 5. Next 5, SMU on probation. No bowl game. Penn State, Nebraska, Miami. Andy Ganigan. He was the best left-hander yesterday. He rocked Sean O'Grady in Little Rock, Arkansas in the second round. And that was the first knockdown, the first of 3. O'Grady never had a chance. Watch here as he goes down the second time from this all-out assault, pulls himself up against the ropes, and then it was just a question of time as Andy Ganigan put away a stunned Sean O'Grady. Don't take a left-hander on as a fill-in, because, of course, he was getting ready to fight Howard Davis with Sean O'Grady, but suddenly Ganigan has ambushed him. But the folks did send back something down there from Little Rock, Phyllis. One of these pig suey hats, these Arkansas
All I can say is hook 'em horns to those pig sueys.
That's what had them upset to begin with, so I guess I'm going to hear again.
Is this a hat? Are you supposed to wear this?
I think so.
It's left over from
Halloween.
There
is another big player we want to tell you about. He is the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, the man we know as the legend, Eric Hipple. And, of course, he is getting ready to take on the Los Angeles Rams in Anaheim. Let's take a look back at what he's accomplished so far in just 2 weeks as the Lion quarterback.
It definitely is getting easier. As far as being on the field and the presence I feel on the field, maybe the confidence factor or whatever it is, just the way the game goes, it's more comfortable.
When he took to the field against Green Bay last Sunday, you could write off his 6-touchdown debut the week before against Chicago as nothing more than beginner's luck. But he quickly proved it was no fluke, scampering for this touchdown against the Packers. And in the closing moments, he did it again to give the Lions a 31-27 victory. His touchdown pass to David Hill was his 5th in 2 games. And he's good at passing the credit around, too.
They've made it very easy to step in and take over. They haven't got any friction or anything, and I don't think they have any problem with me being in there, and so that's probably why I feel it easy. It's a easy situation to step into, just for the way they've accepted me.
But the legend won't be the only test for the Ram defense today. After missing 2 games with a sore toe, Billy Sims is back. In his debut against the Rams last year, he rushed for 153 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's not sure he can do that for an encore.
I think this year it'll be a little different because they're going to be looking for me. But the way the team been playing, the last 2 games, hopefully we can repeat like we did last year.
So it's all coming up. The Eagles and the Cowboys, the Rams, the Lions, the Redskins and the Cardinals. And Irv Cross will take a look at the Dallas Cowboys secondary, a suspect secondary, as we continue in just a moment.
The highest mileage car in America comes with front-wheel drive, a reliable, easy-starting diesel engine, comfortable adjustable seats, and a nice, roomy interior. The Rabbit Diesel is the highest mileage car in America, but the best thing about the highest mileage car in America is it's made by Volkswagen.
If your house is like most, there are many air leaks that produce costly energy loss. Now, lots of products will plug an air leak, but I always use General Electric silicone caulks. GE silicones do the job right, so I don't have to do it again. They stay flexible and last for years. When you take the time to caulk, don't settle for anything but durable quality GE silicones.
Shop participating True Value hardware stores and clip GE Silicone's refund coupon in Thursday's paper for extra savings.
GE, we bring good things to life.
I'm the night vatmaster here at the Olympia Brewery. I expect you've heard about the artesian brewing water we use. Well, I seen them. The artesians. They come up late at night, little wet footprints all over. I let them be, though. I figure what those artesians do for the taste of Ole, I don't want to make them mad.
There are a dozen dramas in today's chapter of the Dallas-Philadelphia story. This time, the Cowboys don't swagger into town as the big favorite against the Easterners. The Dallas quarterback says he can't think of a more intense game outside the Super Bowl, and it's widely believed Dallas has been pointing to today all season long, and there's an obvious area for the Eagles to go after.
Set! Yeah, now. 3:15! Free safety Michael Downs and cornerback Everson Walls are the first rookies to start for the Dallas Cowboys defense in 11 years. When you add Dennis Thurman, a former safety who is now playing cornerback for the first time, perhaps it should be no surprise that the Cowboys have given up more yards passing than any team in football. Surprisingly, though, opponents have thrown only 10 touchdown passes against this young secondary. Only 4 other teams have allowed fewer scoring passes.
The yardage is not really important. It's the final score that's the important thing. And if we can keep them out of the end zone, that should be the key factor for us.
We kind of been give and take to this point, but now we have to start taking away more than we're giving, and I think we can do that. We'll be a pretty good secondary.
That's about the worst place to have rookies if it isn't the quarterback, in the football field. And it hurts us, but it's just lack of experience, really.
Though lacking experience, these youngsters lead the league with 22 interceptions. 8 of that total belongs to Everson Walls, number 24, a free agent from Grambling who grew up just blocks away from the Cowboys training complex.
Everson, how do you feel knowing that most quarterbacks are looking over that line, thinking about coming after you?
Well, it kind of gets your knees shaking a little bit as the game, when the game first starts, but you have to have some sort of confidence. I don't care how young you are. So you just have to make sure and play your techniques right.
You look at Everson Walls. He's lapped most of them in interception. He's got 8. And yet some people say, well, he's a GOAT one play and he's a good player the next. I don't think that's right. I think the kid's playing pretty well myself.
He gets beat quite a bit otherwise, but so far the score's been pretty even. He catches a couple and they catch a couple. It kind of offsets each other.
Everson Walls' interception of a Miami pass in the final seconds capped the 13th consecutive victory for the Cowboys here at Texas Stadium. But there'll be no home field advantage today because the Cowboys must meet the Eagles at Veterans Stadium.
We want Dallas! Dallas! We hate you! Dallas! Right here! At the bench! At the bench!
I always like going to a place where they're so verbal and wild and crazy. They love their team, and and they boo us, and they hate us.
We know that that is one of the few places we play where there really is a 7-point advantage. You hear that bandied about a lot, but it's a fact in Veterans Stadium.
The Cowboys' last visit to the Vet was last January, a bitter 20-7 defeat in the NFC Championship.
It was a pretty bitter loss last year. I think that the revenge factor that we have to deal with is, did we win all 3 matchups if we meet them again in the playoffs? Do we represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? That's the revenge factor we'd like to clean up on.
I think that's the best rivalry in football right now, Dallas and Philadelphia.
You know, it's gotten to that point, Brent. You know, the Cowboys, every one of them to the last man said, the Eagles are taking something from us we want very badly. We intend to get it back.
And the Eagles are going to counter, right?
They are going to counter. Well, Vermeil says he's glad that the Cowboys have such strong feelings about the Eagles. He says, hey, that's super. They used to like to play us. It was a weekend off. The Eagles threw only 15 passes, beating Tampa Bay last week. They'll throw more today. Watch.
Jaworski throws to a variety of targets, but his main deep threat is running back Wilbert Montgomery. Tall, talented Harold Carmichael is superb at the 15-yard pattern.
I really believe that the key to the football game is going to be how well we block the people up front. Any quarterback in the National Football League can complete passes if given the time. And if I'm given time, I'll be able to complete passes on them.
To win, Danny White and the Cowboys will have to outscore Jaworski. It's that simple. White was brilliant down the stretch against Miami last Sunday.
Multi-formations, a lot of misdirection and things of that sort. I think what we have to do is don't get fooled by it and don't fall asleep. I think that's why they use all the misdirections, formations, and things of that nature.
The revenge factor favors the Cowboys.
I'm sure they come in here with a revenge motive, but I'll guarantee you one thing, it's not going to be easy for them. We're going to be ready to play football. You know, we've set a standard for ourselves now in the city of Philadelphia and within the Eagles organization. We know it's going to be a tough football game, but it's always been our belief that we're the ones that are going to make it tough.
You know, but I have noticed that the Cowboys have trouble in big games away from Texas.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you think? I don't necessarily think that, especially this afternoon. I think they're going to do it. One thing about those Philadelphia fans, they are wild and crazy, and they love their team. But the Cowboys fans love their teams. They're just, they have different ways of showing it, Brent, that's all.
Can't shake her.
Dallas all the way. It's going to be a great game.
He said it. Dallas all the way, folks. You heard him.
The NFL Today continues in just a moment.
He said it. He said it. I got it.
Victoria, darling, my heart.
Stop, camera. Wash the suit.
Wash the suit?
It's the Hager washable suit in Visa Fabrics, made a new way to be machine washed and dried.
And action.
Victoria, my...
Cut. I don't believe it.
The Hager washable suit is guaranteed to keep its great looks and fit for its normal life or your money back. The Hager washable suit. Guaranteed wash after wash after wash.
Okay, units, travel plans. I need to be in New York on Monday, LA on Tuesday, New York on Wednesday, LA on Thursday, New York on Friday. Got it? So you want to work here? What really makes you think you deserve a job here?
Well, sir, I think I like it. I'm good at figures and have a sharp mind.
Excellent. Can you start on Monday? And in conclusion, Jim, Bill, Bob, call Fred, Load, Dork, Abe, and Ted. Business is business, so let's get to work. Thank you for taking me. Petey, you did a bang-up job. I'm putting you in charge of Pittsburgh. Perfect. I know it's perfect, Peter. That's why I picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's perfect, Peter. May I call you Pete? Congratulations on your deal in Denver, Dave. I'm putting you down to deal with Dallas.
In this fast-moving, get-it-done-yesterday world, aren't you glad there's one company that can keep up with it all? Federal Express. When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Now you can get instant cash day or night all over the West, but only when you bank at First Interstate Bank. Now you can get cash day or night from California to Idaho, Washington to Arizona, but only when you bank at First Interstate Bank. Because only the First Interstate Bank system has automatic day and night teller machines throughout an 11 Western state territory. Stop in at First Interstate Bank, the only bank where instant cash comes with the territory.
A columnist once wrote, to say Norm Van Brocklin wants to win is to say Picasso likes to paint pictures. But the man called the Dutchman did it his way. In 12 NFL seasons, he passed for 23,611 yards and gained 40 yards rushing. He's Jack Whitaker's subject in Legends of the Game.
Mouth at 20, you couldn't cover me.
As a head coach, he was a hard-line disciplinarian.
You go back in the game till I tell you to. Understand, Harmon? You're in the big leagues now. You understand? Yes, sir. Well, let's start growing up.
As a quarterback, he was one of the finest pure passers pro football has ever seen. They call him the Dutchman, the legendary Norm Van Brocklin. With the L.A. Rams, his receivers included such greats as Tom Fears, Bobby Boyd, and Crazy Legs Hirsch. But one didn't have to be a great receiver to run under one of the Dutchman's perfect passes. Today, Norm Van Brocklin owns 70 acres of pecan trees in northern Georgia, but he still remembers his most famous pass as a Ram. Now, in the 1951 championship game, you threw a touchdown pass to Tom Fears. Do you remember that?
Sure do. That was the last time the Rams won it all. Do you realize that? It's 30 years ago. All the great teams that they've had, they've never won the whole ball of wax. And that pass to Fears won it. Every time Tom told me he could do something, he'd do it. And when I came in the game, he said, Norm, give me a corner. And we hit him, and he broke clean, ran 74 yards for a touchdown.
And the championship.
And the championship. The only one the Rams have ever had.
In December of 1960, Van Brocklin led the Philadelphia Eagles to a world championship despite only 3 hours sleep the night before.
I remember my friends from Portland, Oregon were coming in. They were supposed to arrive at 9 o'clock the night before the game. They got in at 3 o'clock. And I've never told this story, but I was at the airport till 3 o'clock in the morning waiting on Bob and Anita Cook to fly in for the game. They were our friends from college. He played fullback there. But it didn't bother me. I was much younger, and then I had to play the no sleep. It was cold that day, and we played a great Green Bay football team, but they were about a year away. So we caught them just right.
Norm Van Brocklin, the only man ever to quarterback 2 different NFL teams to world championships.
Did it have any significance that you beat a Lombardi team? Or? Oh, sure. As the time went on, it became more and more important.
You're the only one that's beaten in the championship.
That's the only playoff game Lombardi ever lost.
That's right. After a stormy and brilliant career in the NFL as a player and a coach, Norm Van Brocklin has retired to this pecan farm in Social Circle, Georgia. Social Circle, Georgia is a small village in the middle of Sherman's March to the Sea, and Sherman and Van Brocklin share many things. The Dutchman, strong-armed, strong-willed, always intense, always candid, often witty, and one of the greatest competitors the National Football League has ever seen.
Those pecan trees better produce for the Dutchman.
He only knows what it takes to win, and he wants to be a winner no matter what he does.
Let's see if Jimmy the Greek can produce some winners for us. We'll be back with the Greek on the NFL Today in just a moment.
At Volkswagen, we pull rabbits off our American assembly line at random and give them this little test. We test every weld to make absolutely sure the metal breaks before the weld does. There's no law in any book that says we have to do this, but we let some rabbits die so that yours will live longer.
United announces great low prices on complete Hawaii vacation packages. Prices that bring Hawaii closer from the East Coast, closer from the Midwest, closer from every city United serves. United, once-in-a-lifetime prices for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation.
Fly the friendly skies.
I'm your gardener here at Olympia Brewery. You know that artesian brewing water that makes Olympia beer taste so good? Well, it hasn't hurt my begonias either. Of course, some folks don't believe in artesians, but I do. I've talked to them. I like them. I like everything about them, except their sense of humor.
Jimmy the Greek is sponsored by Dutch Master Cigars. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
On this doubleheader Sunday, Jimmy, pull one of your big notes right out of the air, something we're not thinking about.
Remember Frank Cush at Arizona State that went up to Canada? He'll be back in professional football in the United States next season.
Coaching whom?
Oh, I'll tell you that in a couple of weeks, after the Canadian finals.
Tell me about Dallas, Philadelphia. What a war that should be.
Boy, it is a war. You know, this is a bloody war, too. The players from Dallas don't like Vermeil because they say that he's not that Sunday going to church kid everybody thinks he is. This is a Dallas offense against a Philadelphia defense. And who's going to prevail? Dallas, because they'll throw to Dorsett against Edwards inside of him, and Irv Cross just went crazy. He says that Greek is wrong, and I probably will be. But it's a tough ball game. It's really tough. Somebody will win it by a field goal, but I think it's Dallas.
Detroit is out in Anaheim to take on the Los Angeles Rams.
And that's true. And Sims is going to be back. I wished I knew about Baker, though, because he's a game-time situation. It would make a tremendous difference. You know, the Rams' defense this year hasn't been as good as it has been in last season. They've given up 25 sacks this year. Can you imagine that? But you know what, Brent? The Lions haven't done well on grass this year at all. In fact, the last time they won, I think, was at Los Angeles a year ago. I've got to go with the Rams here. I have to. Hayden is just better than Hipple, that's all.
How much has the loss of Jack Reynolds affected the Rams?
Quite a bit, and you can see it in their defense. I mean, really, that's a great question, really. A lot of people seem to think that hurt their defense tremendously.
How about St. Louis and Washington?
Get your calculator out. St. Louis played Washington the last time without Gray and Tilley. So consequently, they figured to be better. Washington is not turning the ball over. I'm going to give it to Washington only because they're at home. Very close.
All right. Now, you like the Dallas Cowboys on the road, and you think the Lions will stay close, but you kind of like the Rams and Pat Hayden to pull that one out. And you like Washington in a tight one.
Boy, it is tight,
Good games today, aren't they?
Oh, are they super? Wow, anybody can beat anybody.
That's how Roselle planned it. The NFL today continues on CBS in just a moment.
Today, when many makers are taking quality out of their cigars, Dutch Masters is putting more in. Many others have switched to manufactured wrapper that isn't all tobacco. But Dutch Masters still grows premium leaf to age into our famous light-colored natural Claro wrapper. And now Dutch Masters is enriching its blend with Havana seed tobaccos. We're putting more quality in so you get more pleasure out. Dutch Masters Panatellas, naturally worth more.
Northwestern isn't the only team called Wildcats that's undergoing a tough season. Consider the Wildcats of Ensign High School near Dodge City, Kansas. As Brent reports, they stand tall, although their coach says, we haven't had the privilege of winning.
This is the locker room of Ensign High. They've lost 44 games in a row over 5 years. Ensign loses by scores such as 52-0, 52-6. The team plays 8-man football. Now, there are only 31 students in the whole school, and 11 of them are on the team. Once, injuries left them with only 4 healthy players. But the coach says this current squad never quits. They never give up, no matter how bad they're losing.
We place an awful lot of emphasis on winning, but it's not everything. Our main objective is to go out there and play the game, and if we do win, then we'll enjoy it the best way that we can.
Phyllis, don't you feel for that team?
Yeah, I do. But they're great spirit there at Ensign High.
Don't you like the hat? I'm the coach.
I'm the coach.
Hey, we've got a lot of final scores in. Big showdown coming up next week in the NFC West. Atlanta is going to win 41-10. They lead over New Orleans. The Jets are ahead of the Giants 19-7. Time running out there for the Giants in that one. Miami is now a final 27-10 over Baltimore. So now the Dolphins run their record to 6-2. Tampa Bay over Chicago 20-10. The Buccaneers are now 5-8. and 4. Cincinnati over Houston, 34-21 is the score there. That is not yet a final. Buffalo leading Cleveland, 22-13 is the score there. Seattle and Green Bay are tied at 21, and it is just in. San Francisco beats Pittsburgh 17-14. The amazing 49ers are for real. We'll have highlights at halftime next week, San Francisco and Atlanta. For Irv and Phyllis and Jimmy the Greek, I'm Brent Musburger. We hope you've enjoyed the NFL Today on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.
Heavenly Father, we thank thee for they were the perfect couple with the perfect American family until a brutal intruder ripped their dreams apart.
Some guy broke into our house this morning and raped your mother. Raped? Yeah, raped your mother.
I'm so angry. Struggling through rage and remorse, when she needed his strength, he needed revenge.
That guy took something that was mine.
I thought I was the victim.
But he, too, was a casualty. William Devane and Jennifer O'Neill star in a world premiere. The Other Victim, Wednesday.
O'clock tomorrow.
The Detroit Lions stunned by early injuries. Danielson, the quarterback, down, and Billy Sims, the great runner, out for 2 weeks. But the arrival of Eric Hipple, 2 starts, 2 wins for the Detroit Lions. Second year out of Utah State, 196-pounder, 6'1", 5 touchdown passes in 2 games. He hit Dave Hill, the tight end, for 9 against Green Bay. Rick Kane in for Sims, and the Lions lead the entire league in rushing the football. Their defense is tough. Can they break the logjam a game back of the Minnesota Vikings in the Central Division? The Rams stunned early by Joe Montana. Mistake in the secondary, touchdown Clark. Rams playing catch-up. Haydenback gets good blocking this time. And Wendell Tyler hangs in the air on a skyhook. Makes an unbelievable touchdown catch. The Rams are coming back in the second half. But the sacks come. Dean gets 1 of 5, and Hayden hits the deck. 2 games back of San Francisco, tied with the Falcons. And Mr. Dependable failed on 4 field goal attempts, a close loss. Can the Rams turn it around as they did in '79 and head for the Super Bowl? And the Lions have yet to win on the road. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Anaheim, California, the stadium with over 65,000 to see the hometown Rams play the Detroit Lions. They say it's only 82 degrees, but the Santa Ana winds of Lloyd, it might be 90 down the field. I'm Tom Brookshire with the great former Dallas quarterback Roger Staubach. Roger, Hipple comes in with a big reputation for 2 games, but the Rams can put a lot of hurry-ups and sacks on him. What's he going to have to worry about today against the Rams?
Well, Hipple is, of course, bordering on the sensational. He's been overwhelming the last couple of weeks. The Rams present a mixture. They're going to give him the blitz look. They'll come out of it. If he starts audibling and gets confused, I think he'll have some trouble. They also bring in the nickel defense, and that has caused a lot of teams a lot of problems. And Hipple is going to be tested by an experienced Ram defense, and I think he'll meet his strongest test in his 3-week span so far.
All right, the Detroit secondary is pretty average. In fact, it may be worse than that. Will Hayden load it up and throw it 35, 40 times?
Well, Detroit is very concerned about their secondary. They've given up the big plays, the 94-yard pass in the Denver game. They worry about that secondary. L.A. has got the quick wide receivers, and Denard, Waddy, Drew Hill. They can take advantage of that young secondary, and I think that'll be the test we'll see. The Rams going against that secondary of the Lions, Tommy.
Okay, Roger. Number 12, get over here. Let's go to work. Eddie Murray, the great young kicker for Detroit, will kick off. Drew Hill is back for the Los Angeles Rams. To your right, there he is. Remember a year ago, 98 yards by Drew Hill with these 2 teams opened up Ram football here at Anaheim. This one's going to bounce at the 4. Hill picks it up at the 4. Gets out and is drilled about the 6-yard line. Good coverage by Detroit on a beautiful day in California. It is clear, and it was gorgeous this morning. Here is the Rams offensive lineup. Pat Hayden, of course, at quarterback. Wendell Tyler, Cullen Bryant. Preston Denard having a great year outside, along with Billy Waddy. Jackie Slater now has moved to left tackle. Of course, France is going to be operated upon this week. Kent Hill back at left guard. Rich Saul in the middle. Dennis Harrah, Doug Smith. The guard center will play right tackle, and Wall Arnold's the tight end. Pat Hayden. Pretty good numbers. He's been sacked 21 times so far this year. Man in motion going by Denard. Here's a handoff to Wendell Tyler. Gets good yardage out over the 10. Stopped there by Fantetti, the Wyoming middle linebacker, who should be arrested. He is a tough football player. Dave Purifori at left defensive end. William Gay will stay inside. Doug English, the big All-Pro, now back with Detroit this year, and Curtis Green, the number 2 draft, will open it right in. Gary Cobb, Fantetti, the man who made that last tackle, and the veteran Stan White, the right side. Wayne Smith, Hector Gray, Ray Oldham, and Jimmy Allen, and they are under a lot of heat. They will be today. Second down call. Kennard in the slot. Handoff goes to Cullen Bryant. Short of the first down, but out over the 15. A big, important score for this game.
Well, that was. San Francisco had a 10-0 lead. Pittsburgh came back, and San Francisco pulled it out in the end, won 17-14. That's a big win for San Francisco in Pittsburgh also, Tom.
Well, it really puts the pressure on the Rams, who are 2 games behind coming in. So at this moment, they're at least 2.5 and not holding. The Rams must win the football game against Detroit. 32% third down conversion ratio. That can be deceptive, but it can also be deadly if you don't get it. The 2 tight end formation on short yardage, third and about 2. Here's a reverse handoff. This is Mike Gilman, the Penn State, getting the first down and more as he gets to the 20-yard line. A lot of people have always said that Malavasi's team lacked imagination, but I think they do a lot of crazy things on offense.
Well, they're somewhat conservative. Gooman's in the tight wing set over there. They got the 2 backs in, Tyler and Bryant. Gooman's in a tight set.
Well, that's
the
not
fake inside. He comes back out. It isn't conservative. The Rams have had a history of being somewhat conservative, but again, they've changed that over the last 2 years, I think, Tom. Here's Gooman coming across the fake inside to Tyler. They were all going after Tyler or Bryant. He got 2 or 3 yards, just good enough for the first down.
First down for the Rams. Early moments. First down. Here's Tyler. Man head on. Still bucks for a couple of yards. Fantetti hitting Riddell to Riddell.
Well, here's an interesting matchup. Tyler is holding his knee right below his knee right there. And
he missed the whole 80s season after the automobile accident. Yeah. He's really having an excellent year this year so far.
He's got 582 yards, and as you mentioned, he's having a great year. He's got 23 receptions, so he's an all-purpose back, as we saw last week, making that great catch against San Francisco. And here's the hit right there. He gets his helmet busted right there, and pretty tough shape by Fantetti, who is really a hitter. And something in the bottom of that pile got his knee also, Tom, and hopefully it's not serious.
All right, early in the first quarter, no score, and we've got Wendell Tyler down on the deck.
Introducing another engineering wonder, the new 1982 Honda Accord. It handles better, and to use less energy, we've increased the gas mileage. We've improved the aerodynamics and made it quieter inside. We've also made it roomier. Any wonder the new Accord is so well engineered? After all, it's a Honda.
Honda, we make it simple.
Throughout history, we've created sounds to call out over vast distances.
Now, Zenith System 3 introduces the only television that's also a telephone. With advanced space phone, you can take or make calls anywhere in the world, right through your set.
Hello, London speaking.
No other TV set can make that call. System 3 from Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Tyler walked off, but let's see how it happened.
Of course, our fine CBS crew got the angle where we can see the injury problem. Here's Tyler. He gets hit, popped by Fantetti, who is really a hitter. He knocks him back. Right here is where his leg bent back. It actually his knee went back, so it was a hyper-type extension, and Tyler did come off in his own power. And here's Bryant going down the sideline.
This is Thomas coming out, number 33, I believe. He went in for Wendell Tyler.
What you don't want to see in a replay, Tom, is that knee getting hit from the side where you can mess up some ligament cartilage. When it was bent back, it did hyperextend a bit, but he came off and looks like he's probably doing all right, and they're rubbing it down a little bit over the sideline.
Tuthill will work it over. Gerald Thomas, by the way, is the San Jose man, the second year, a 235-pounder on a 5'10 frame, who had a couple of outstanding games, one of them against the Dallas Cowboys a year ago. Here we are now on second down. Make it third down. 4 to go. 3rd and 4 on the 26. Great drop back. The flags are down. Dropped over the middle and dropped as Waddy couldn't hang on to it, but the flag was dropped early.
Looks like Doug English just jumped a bit before the snap.
Which means a first down by a foot or so when they move the sticks. Ferragamo, of course, was the most valuable Ram a year ago. And then he packed his grip for the one-way trip, headed for Montreal.
Offside, number 78, defense, first down.
Doug English. And there is Monty Clark in his 4th year at Detroit. A heck of a head coach, but a tough guy. Tampa Bay beating Chicago 20-10. Pressure now, of course, on the Detroit Lions if they want to stay in 2nd place in the Central. Berkshire hit the balls at the 31. Here's Hayden, a lot of time, goes outside, in and out of the hands of Thomas, who has not been used a lot. And that's got to, the first pass you catch almost all year, that's got to be a problem, Roger, right?
Well, that's true. Gerald just came in the game, and Hayden fired that pretty hard, got it to the inside of him. He had to kind of spin to get it. But the concept, as we're seeing, is developing here early in the game. The Rams are going to run the football against this Detroit defense. It's allowed less than 100 yards a game. They feel they can run the ball in Detroit, and when they're going to throw it, they're going to try to keep it in front of the linebackers, play-action type passes, and hitting the backs in the short areas. He had Bryant and Thomas open that time, and of course it was thrown and dropped.
All right, 2nd down, 10, straight handoff up the middle. It's going to be a wide open one. Wendell Tyler back in the game. Tyler's going to go. The longest run of the Rams for the Rams this year. It's going to be a touchdown. I don't see any flags. A 69-yard touchdown by the man with the hyperextended knee 2 plays before. I'd say they think they can run the football against that defense.
They sure can, and there's Uncle Sam. He's happy. The Rams are happy. Tyler's happy. Here's the trap. Watch the Hayden fakes the pitch that way, comes back inside. An excellent block right there by Dennis Harrah, number 60. Doug Smith, 56, also had a nice block. Tyler splits that middle, and it's a foot race with Hector Gray. That little cut back to the left right there gave that hyper-extended knee a little extra juice, and he's in that end zone. That's a long run, 69 yards, and Tyler's had a great year this year, but he has not run for over 100 yards in a game, so he's off to a good start, Tom.
You're right. Here's Corral now. He's perfect at extra points this year and remains that way, and there is a crowd to see the kick go through. Big Frank, the only two-way kicker in football. He's a pretty good hand. Rams draw first blood, lead 7-0 with 11:59 left.
Gentlemen, this meeting is called to decide which one of us is the most popular light beer drinker of all.
Must be talking about me.
I vote for my buddy, Boog Powell.
Should I take the minutes?
You can take all year.
Hey, I cast my vote for Billy Martin.
I'll second that.
Me too.
Excuse me, this chart clearly shows what a little showing off can do.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the most popular guy here. Gentlemen, wait, a little respect. At least we agree that light beer from Miller tastes great.
Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it!
Better make it a secret ballot.
Could we vote for Red Auerbach?
Please? I'm voting for me.
Count the vote, and that's no joke. All right. Gentlemen, we have a winner.
Says here the winner is Bubba Smith.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Sunday, it's Clint Eastwood, brawling, loving, running wild. Bang. In his smash hit, Every Which Way But Loose, Sunday.
Corral will kick off. The longest run for the Rams this year, their longest had been a 21-yarder by Wendell Tyler, and the longest in Tyler's career with the Rams, 69 yards. Here's Robbie Martin, a young man from San Luis Obispo, Cal State there, and the short kickoff by Corral, bouncing, taken by number 31 at the 15-yard line, and pretty good coverage by the Rams. That was Calicut, the fullback, the special teams man. And the Lions get their first offensive look, and they haven't been on the field yet. Here it is, Eric Hipple, the man from Downey, California, and Utah State. Billy Sims, look out, one of the great runners, perhaps of all time. We'll find out. Dexter Bussey, the all-time Lion ground gainer. Freddie Scott Leonard Thompson, not bad. Up front, Bolsweiler, Elias Fowler, Bollinger, and Keith Dorney, the big guy from Penn State at right tackle, and David Hill. If David Hill's hot, the Lions will stay close. Here's Hipple's first call on the 27. High formation. Thompson in motion. Here's the drive. Billy Sims bounces off Andrews and gets to the 33-yard line. Looked like a yard loss. Rob Perry finally made that tackle. Youngblood, Fanning, Reggie Doss, and Cody Jones. Brooks is just nicked in 3 or 4 places and can't play. The linebackers, and Jim Youngblood is hurt too on a bad knee he's playing.
He's a little
Carl
gimpy.
Eckert and George Andrews.
Yeah, Youngblood is a little gimpy. Irvin's still in there for Pat Thomas, Rod Perry, Johnson Cromwell. Fine secondary. They'd like to have Pat Thomas back though.
2nd down and 6. The ball's in the 31. Throw set and a handoff to Billy Sims. Mr. Glide. He's hit by Eckert before he gets to the 35. I was amazed that Gradishar, after he had 185 yards rushing against Denver, and I'm talking about Billy Sims, Gradishar said, you can talk about Campbell and Peyton and everybody, but he's the finest all-around runner Gradishar said he'd ever seen or tried to tackle.
Well, that particular game, Gradishar is right, and you've got to put Billy Sims up there with all the great running backs, not only that are playing now, but that have had played. He needs to have more years under his belt before you really can look at what he'll accomplish, and what he's accomplished so far has been pretty spectacular.
It's 3rd down and 2. Handoff to Sims, who breaks out over the 41, and Braggy, number 53, with him, Jim Youngblood. Let's take a look at that touchdown again.
Well, this is a school in blocking here. Watch the right tackle. Smith comes on the trap block. Everything else is pretty well zoned. Slater passes over on anybody that's in the way, and it happened to be, in that case, the secondary. In the Jimmy Allen, of course, Tyler just broke it clean after he got through, but fine blocks up front. Saul was a zone block, Smith on a trap, and Slater got the key block on Jimmy Allen passing over. So it was excellent execution and fine speed by Tyler.
And Radakovic said he thought he could trap some and do something. They've done it. He's the offensive coach. Here's Hippleback for his first pass. A good clean pass overthrows Dave Hill at the 40-yard line. But he had time to throw it, and the ball was thrown pretty well. Leroy Irvin's a little bit in pursuit.
That was well designed. It was a good play-action fake, and Hill came all the way across the field. Johnny Johnson was held by the play-action, and Hill actually was open. Hipple just let that go a little bit too quick, and the ball just took off on him. So it was a wide-open pass to Hill. Hill caught 9 last week, and they feel he's the key receiver today also against this Rams secondary. They feel they have to hit Hill and hit the backs. It's going to be tougher going downfield against the Rams.
Sometimes Hill plays well, and sometimes he doesn't. He's sort of a reluctant dragon, isn't he? 2nd down and 10 on the 41. Here's the I formation toss to Billy Sims. Sims nailed at the 40-yard line.
You know, Bud Carson says
That's Reggie Doss making that tackle, and a good one.
Reggie and a little help from Cody Jones. Bud Carson mentioned, he's the Rams defensive coordinator, mentioned that they've got to stop the I formation. They've really been hurt by Dorsett at Dallas, Rodgers at New Orleans. The I formations, when the 2 backs are lined up, one behind the other, and the good running backs, the quick ones, the fast ones, they can do so much from the eye. They can cut back, they can run off tackle, and LA's been hurt, so they're going to be doing a lot of stunning in the line to stop them.
Okay, 3rd down and 11 now. Horace King is in with Billy Sims, and I guess the nickel defense is in. Here's the pressure, overthrowing Davey Hill as the Rams put people in the slots and came that time. Leroy Irvin back there. Ball not thrown too well, and I think Hipple looked a little nervous, which I think you should expect for a nice young person.
They're going to put pressure. They give that blitz look. Sometimes they come and sometimes they doesn't. Now, they don't. Hipple's got to make a decision whether to audible the blitz look or stay with his play. Detroit said he's going to do less audibling. There's Irvin back there who's just having a phenomenal year. Last year, the leader had a 12-point average, and he's got 17. And
Davies the best kicker, the best punter.
Nice matchup here. But Hipple will not be audible as much against that 3rd down defense. They're going to let the offensive people make the adjustments. Hill will do some automatics against that, so that'll be something to look forward to today.
A little bit of a low snap now. Delaney gets it off. It'll be Irvin at the 19-yard line. He spins his facial. He gets a little block. Breaks one at the 30. And almost gets over to the 45-yard line when he's tackled. And I believe the punter, Skladany, is the one that made the tackle. What a return. You don't know how scary that is to be back there waiting for the punt because all eyes and shoulder pads are on you.
There's a flag down.
7-0.
Flag down, Tom.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
And it's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
this compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
He was the kind of a guy who didn't expect much from today's small cars. Just practicality, nothing more. Then he saw the 1982 Oldsmobile Omega and realized he'd been expecting too little. This four-cylinder front-wheel drive Olds Omega had style. He could imagine the luxury inside, the smooth, quiet ride. Olds Omega, he smiled. Even today, there's still room to do it with style.
Here's the clipping call on young Collins.
Right there. Of course, he would have been stopped there, so Collins had to get that man. He just got him the wrong way, and that was a clip.
Negates the 24-yard punt return by Irvin. Dick Vermeil says the most costly penalties in football, he thinks, are on the special teams. He said that for some reason it changes the entire, almost the sync of your offense or defense, whichever one has to recover from it.
They are discouraging penalties.
First down for the Rams on the 16. Tyler out to almost the 20. Fantetti, the leading tackler for the Lions, making it. Very few teams are playing the basic 4-3 defense anymore, and two of them happen to be right here, the Rams and the Lions. Of course, the Cowboys still do, but those Texans they're hard to catch on to something new like that, 34.
You see a lot of the three-man fronts now with four linebackers, and sometimes it depends on personnel. The Lions, of course, they have, here's the big one right here, Atlanta, just clobber New Orleans.
New Orleans played good defense. Here it is, second down and 6. Hayes, quick drop, going to the outside. Denard takes it, steps out. It's money in the bag. Hector Gray watching. Miami beating Baltimore 27-10. McCormick's team, after their opening win in the opening game of the season, has just been put on the shelf, on the back burner. First and 10 out on the 26th. Rams are breaking the huddle, and I think Malavasi is very confident about the game today. At least I felt that at practice yesterday, talking with him. Tight ends in motion. Here's Hayden back to throw. He's got a lot of time to throw it. And there's deflected and knocked away at the last minute by the linebacker. I believe Fantetti got back there and got a taped hand on it. Denard looked open.
Well, Fantetti had he had very fine coverage that time. He had good field movement. He was in the zone watching Hayden, and he just kept backpedaling. He got back 15, 18 yards deep, and he got one hand on the ball. Denard was open if it wasn't for Fantetti.
But no pressure on Pat Hayden.
You getting my son over there, Al?
49ers probably won the game a week ago with 6 sacks. The Jets laying it on the New York Giants in the battle, they say, for the Big Apple.
1-3! 199!
You don't get a good table by the windows. You get near the kitchen. Here it is, second down and 10 on the 26th. Wendell Tyler. Oh, hit hard and dropped before he gets to the 20. William Gay, the defensive tackle, riding down from behind. Remember, the Rams came in against the Cowboys a couple of years ago and ran the ball well against you when you thought the flex would stop that. Remember, recall that a couple of years ago?
That's right. Tyler also was a big factor in that game, and he's tough to shut down, as is Sims. And Detroit now, they're bringing in Alvin Hall. They use when you say nickel, they bring an extra defensive back and take out a linebacker. They have a 4-man front. L.A. has really had trouble on third down, too. Their efficiency is right down at the bottom of the whole NFC.
Hayden's back to pass. Did not keep anybody in. And dumps it outside. Bryant has it. The flags are back in the passing pocket. They may have roughed Pat Hayden. They may be roughing the passer.
I think you're right, Tom. Lyon was throwing his arms down, and Hayden was on the ground. So,
well, Mark Bright is a very good official. He usually has control, and they've got to stop the spearing, and they've got to stop the late shots at the quarterbacks. You guys are the name of the game, and while I never liked many quarterbacks on the field, you have to be protected.
Well, last week, Gay had the run-in with Lynn Dickey of Green Bay and was thrown out of the game, and Monty Clark did not challenge that decision.
Holding, number 56, offense, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 78, defense, penalties offset.
Doug English for roughing the passer, and Smith for holding on the offensive pass pattern. The unsportsmanlike will take precedent, so the ball is moved forward for the Rams. Here's the play.
It's a third down call. Again, Hayden's got double coverage downfield, so he lays it off to the back. Right here, he hits Cullen Bryant for the first down, and, of course, we have the penalty.
That was William Gay, number 79, not Doug English. Same man that did it a week ago. Cincinnati 34-21 over Houston. The Bengals are like a roller coaster. Pat Hayden now. He got up and shook it off, but he was hit. 3rd down and 7 on the 29. The Rams with a 7-0 lead on a 69-yard burst. By the halfback. Rush and being dropped by number 75, Dave Purifoy, beating Smith on the outside, makes the sack.
You have English and Bubba Baker and Gay. Purifoy doesn't get all the credit he deserves. He's a fine football player, fine defensive end for Detroit, and he really just makes that outside escape, which is a tough one. He just comes around the horn and bam. That's a good trap right there.
Purifoy runs a 40 in about 4.75. Got to get a license plate and hang on him. Back to kick is Frank Corral, standing on about his 8-yard line, and Robbie Martin waits for the punt. The breeze is not a factor. Pretty good rush put on here. A good punt by Corral. Martin at the 31. A dance. And no chance. And the Lions get their second offensive shot. A 44-yard kick as Ivory Sully, our friend from Delaware, made the tackle on special teams. Wendell Tyler for 7. And the Rams lead in the first quarter. We got 7:02 left.
Now, there are solar-powered telephone calls. Why? Well, in many of the world's more remote areas, it's highly impractical, if not impossible, to run telephone lines. And since our solar repeaters, which relay the calls via radio wave, get their power from the sun, no lines are needed. Gee. No. GTE.
With State Farm, you don't call a stranger when you need help. If you have a question about your family or personal insurance needs, or you want to report a claim, you call your State Farm agent. We're there to give you personal service. That's one of the big reasons so many families come to State Farm and stick with State Farm. It's the availability of the State Farm agent. Whether it's life, health, home, or car insurance, we're there to help.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next weekend, the champion Michael Spinks is undefeated. He faces a challenge of Vonzell Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship next weekend on CBS Sports Saturday.
Don't forget next weekend, the light heavyweight championship fight. Michael Spinks, Leon's little brother and a better fighter than his big brother, against Vonzell Johnson from Atlantic City on CBS Sports. Here's Hipple now, second series for the offense. Dave Hill, the tight end to the right side, and got a slot left. Motion toward the right, first down. Inside handoff. Dexter Bussey, the workhorse. Maybe a couple. Final score, New York 26-7 over New York. That surprise you, the Jets handling the Giants?
It sure does. The game we did a few weeks ago, the Giants knocked off Seattle 32-0. Seattle comes back and beats the Jets, so it's the parity is in effect in the NFL. We saw Dexter Bussey's stats there briefly. Dexter, I think, is one of the real underrated football players in the National Football League.
We're going to see anticipating a pass now. The nickel defense has gone in for the Rams on second down and 7. High formation, straight handoff. Billy Sims, the flags are flying. Sims gets out over the 40. Flags fell, 2 of them. Reggie Doss, young man playing defensive right tackle in the place of Larry Brooks, made that stop. Billy Sims is a powder keg waiting to blow, a glider. He's like Secretariat, going 1.1 miles.
He's one of those guys, you know, you shut him down 2 or 3 plays in a row and he'll bust the next one for 80 yards, and you never can stop worrying about a guy like that.
12 men on the field, defense.
It's a good idea, but 12 men is, while recommended, you really get caught for it. Now, nickel dime penalties, they will cost you though, right?
That's exactly right. And Jack Youngblood is arguing with that referee, and Malavasi doesn't like it, so someone can't count.
Well, the officials, they go to counting school.
That's right.
Not a county, but just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know they can get to 11. And I have a feeling that it brings up second short. Second down and 2. Lions are lined up a lot off the ball, way back, so the linemen can block the stunts. Man in motion. Here's Hipple back. Tried for a screen to the right side. He's got it. That's Horace King with the ball. Gets good yardage. Cuts back inside the 40. He's open. Horace King down the left side, inside the 20, and nailed at the 18-yard line by Leroy Irvin. A screen pass, Hipple to Horace King. 39 yards.
What's amazing about that, it developed a little bit late. Watch this block on Eckern. Now, this is really what made the play. It kind of developed late. Hipple's back, and he wants to throw it now, but then he kind of pauses a little bit, puts it over. There's the block on Eckern right there that really makes the play, and another fine block on number 52, George Andrews by Dorney, and, of course, it's almost all over right here. He gets the angle. Irvin has the angle, but it's really a fine play. Two excellent blocks that set up that play.
The 14th catch by Horace King for the Lions. They are 4-4, but they're hot now. Billy Sims trying to get outside on the I formation to the 15-yard line, and Eckern, number 55, makes the stop. Tried to bounce outside, didn't he?
He doesn't have much in this, Tom. He does. He comes inside handoff, tries to go outside, cut back in. Youngblood does an excellent job. Good pursuit. And that's what LA has to do in a guy like Sims. You got to pursue.
Surprising Kansas City 7-7 with San Diego in the first quarter, and I don't think anybody's done a better job than Maurice Levy with that Kansas City team. Green Bay leading Seattle by 4 in the third. Second down and 8 now. Hipple going for the bubble. He hits Dave Hill in the end zone, the back line for a touchdown. A good throw by Eric Hipple. And I mean right on.
It takes some guts to throw it in there also. Johnny Johnson kind of had his back turned. The screen pass that Hipple hit, though, I think gives you a lot of confidence. You hit that little pass to get you down. That was a key play for this game for Hipple to hit a big play like that early in the game. And now he comes back and hits another one for the score. Threw it right past Johnny Johnson and Eckern. Actually, Eckern got in the way of Johnny Johnson. Watch Eckern, number 55. He's got him coming across. Johnson's following. And Eckern really kind of screens out Johnson a little bit. And Eckern was beat to the inside. So it was Eckern's fault.
You got to go get the ball in the end zone. You don't wait for somebody else to do it. You go get the ball. Here's Murray's attempt for the extra point. The Lions had their hands up, and Markbright finally gets them up.
Of course, if Hipple's reading the play right, he's got Hill doubled. He had the guts. He threw it in there.
Here's the extra point attempt by Eddie Murray. For some reason, there was some conjecture as they ran over the top of the kicker. Ball may have hit the post and glanced through.
I missed that. I didn't see it hit the post.
It's a big touchdown pass. The third touchdown catch for Big Dave Hill of the season. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. Okay, here's the kick. It's good.
I didn't see that at all.
It's like throwing cork if it goes through. If it doesn't, you want to go to the other bench. Kickers have tremendous responsibility. They only remember the last kick. I guess it's like quarterbacks.
Right. It's a jungle out there.
It's a jungle out. It's a jungle up here. All right, from the 35. Eddie Murray. Drew Hill is waiting. Boy, that's a 4-second hang job on a kickoff. Hill, 2 yards deep in the end zone, brings it out and spins to about the 9-yard line. Great coverage by the Lions, and they look like they're fired up. They're relaxed on the sidelines, but the 11 at a time that are on the field look to me like they picked the tempo up a little bit. There's Hipple.
I think that as an old quarterback, and I mean old quarterback, that screen pass really picks you up when you hit a little play like that and it busts for so many yards, and they were stymied a little bit and hadn't got their act together. That kind of set the tempo that it got them down to the position to score, and I think it gave Hipple some confidence. Will help him the rest of the day.
All right, it's going to be a long day. We're still in the first quarter, 4:33 left, a 7-all tie. Ball's on the 10-yard line, and the flags really fly as several people break early. Purifoy might have made the first contact, number 75 at left end.
Ball start. Offense.
The offense, he was drawn off. Encroachment. A slight boo from a sellout crowd. And one of the most glorious days I've ever seen in Southern California.
It is beautiful today. I'd like to see who they're going to call this on.
Maybe we can take a look. Sandy Grossman, our director, is a super sleuth at these kind of replays. Let's see.
They might call this on Hayden.
Ball start. Number 56.
Yeah.
Offense. First down.
Doug Smith.
Hayden had that inflection in his voice. If you change it drastically and pull someone offside, they'll call it on the quarterback. But Doug Smith, the right tackle, who we're looking at here,
Well, what do you mean? You mean Hayden has a funny voice? Does Hayden have a funny voice? Is it high or what? Here's a handoff. Cullen Bryant, the big fullback, getting probably the line of scrimmage and a lot of heat. The Redskins on a tear recently, 14-0 over St. Louis in the first quarter. Fantetti made the stop, and they're the kickers joking about where they're going to be playing maybe next year.
You know, in the NFL, you just don't know which team is going to show up which week. St. Louis, you don't know who's going to show up when they play. And here's Pastorini. They say he's looking great in practice.
What a profile.
But he hasn't had a chance to play yet.
Second down and 14. The ball's on the 6. Hayden back throwing out of his end zone. Trying to left as Bryant being pretty closely watched by number 40 there, Jimmy Allen. It looked like Hayden didn't even want to run that play.
They had Bryant up short. Everybody started going for Bryant, Stan White, and also the cornerback. And Arnold's going to go back and tell Hayden I was wide open. And Arnold was in that seam about 15, 20 yards. Hayden decided to play it safe and throw out to the back. And
do you listen to it? They're always open. Have you ever seen a receiver that said he was covered?
Well, that's one time that Arnold was open. I'm going to go along with that one. They'll hit Arnold in that 15 or 20 seam before this quarter's over. So my name isn't Joe Namath.
Joe Namath, number 12, same number. Third down, 14 to go. The ball's on the 6. Hayden back to throw out of his end zone. A pretty good rush, dumps it in the flat on his drop. Wendell Tyler being held on the goal line. It's not a lateral. It's just an incomplete pass.
Here's a happy man last week. He said he was really thankful. He did a lot of praying on the sidelines, and that last drive that Detroit had was an excellent drive and kind of turned around some close games early in here, which they lost. A big game for him, a big confidence builder to pull one out in the closing minutes instead of losing it. So Monty's got it together this week, and that drive right there has put Detroit in good position in this particular game.
Tampa Bay winning by 10, bouncing back from their loss to Philadelphia. Puts some more pressure on the Lions. They got to keep pace. Here's Corral now kicking from right underneath the goalpost. Been averaging over 40 yards a kick. Pretty good hang time. This is a good kick. It's not a great kick, but it's a good kick. That's Martin. Martin at the 45 gets inside the 35 and then is thrown into the Ram bench. Lions have good field position, and they've just scored the tying touchdown. There's Bubba Baker, the big sack man, who's got a bad left big toe. Greater hallux is hurt. They miss him, don't they, from that weak side rush?
They do. He's got that turf toe, and that's the ligament underneath that toe is stretched and giving him some pain and pushing off for a defensive end, which is his strength, to push off with his speed to get to the quarterback. As he's limited, so they're going to rest him another week.
Okay, the Lions break the huddle. There's that 4-point job. 28-24 Green Bay over Seattle in the fourth. 3:39 left here. Hipple with the ball on the 33. The Los Angeles 33. Good fake inside. Big rush put on him, and Hipple's trying for number 87 on the far side. That's Freddie Scott. Big pass rush that time by Mike Fanning. No score in our grudge match. You and I have a very friendly big dinner bet on that.
That's right.
Two friends of one team or the other.
It's going to be a barn burner up there. A lot of hype in Dallas before I left. A lot of publicity in the paper. A lot of barbs thrown back and forth.
Yeah, I'd say. Lonnie Clark learned under Don Shula. That's got to be a pretty good professor. Second down and 10 on the 33. A slot formation left to the top of your screen. Hipple calling. Boy, Billy Sims gets maybe a yard or so to about the 31.
I like this Detroit team, though, Tommy.
Joe Harris made that tackle.
Came out on that first play, a good play action pass, and you think, well, why don't we run the football? But they're going to take some chances. They've got the array of things they can do. It's just not Sims and Bussey. They got Scott and Thompson, some big play guys, David Hill, and of course the way Hipple's playing, he pulls a lot of tricks out of the hat. So this is a coming football team, a big game for them, though. This is a key game. Down the stretch, they've got some of their most important games back in the Silverdome. They have not been effective on the road, though.
That's right. Horace King is in for the passing situation. Hipple's going for it all for Dave Hill, the tight end, and it's knocked away at the last minute by, I believe, Nolan Cromwell. It's a good thing Cromwell has a good vertical jump because that ball was right on target.
Well, you have two of the best that L.A. has on Hill. Hill has one step. Hipple puts a pretty nice throw. A little bit late, though. The ball got in there a little late. Cromwell gets a hand up, but Johnny Johnson's on him also. So you got two on one, and Hill didn't have much of a chance in that play.
Eddie Murray will try a field goal. He's kicked a 53-yarder this year. He is one of the sidewinding kickers from Tulane, but the ball actually straightens out and sort of looks like a functional basic kicker. It straightens out and goes straight. He doesn't hook a lot. This is from the 41. This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt. It's long enough. Oh, it's good. The Lions used the little man from Canada to Tulane to the Detroit Lions, and the Lions have scored 10 unanswered points. Well, that was strong. That would have been good from 65 yards.
Well, he put that one right solid, right down the middle. Plenty of height over that line of scrimmage, too. A lot of kickers get those kicks blocked at the line of scrimmage. He had good height on that, and, of course, they got something out of that drive, and that's important. This game was going to be a kind of a tight situation. L.A. had the same opportunities last week. They didn't make their field goals, and when you get into these tight battles and you have running backs like Sims and Tyler, you got to take advantage of those plus 30-yard areas and get those field goals.
Sims, about 204 pounds. They'll list him at 212 and all of that, but those are collegiate numbers. He's only about 204 pounds, but he is the thoroughbred. Now, the kickoff will be by Eddie Murray from the 35. The Rams have sort of quieted down, and the crowd has done the same. People are sitting here in the sun, waiting for the Rams to explode. This is the man that could do it. Drew Hill, great speed and a great nose for a kickoff return man. And you've got to be a real kamikaze man to run back kickoffs in this league. Take all your money up front. No deferred payments for kickoff return men. Take it down. Here's Murray. It's got good hang time, but it's short. That's Hill at the 7-yard line. Hill flying up the left side, breaks out. Then is banged at about the 28, and the flags are down. The special team flag is down. Eddie Murray making the push out of bounds. There's 6 officials. They can see a lot.
You mentioned before, Tom, about the penalties on the special area, and I agree. It's a disheartening thing to have them. And Irwin's punt before was called back, and it was a factor. That bottled L.A. up and gave Detroit another opportunity and took away a lot of good field position from L.A. And here again, they're going to be back in their own side of the field inside that 20-yard line.
Holding number 95 on the return. First down.
Of course, last week against San Francisco, the Rams had field position and no points. What they have, most of them were inside San Francisco territory the whole day, weren't they? All right, back to the action now. First and 10 on the 17. Hayden back to throw on a little play pass action. Dumps it out in the flat. Tyler takes it, is dropped immediately on the 15. Miami number 44 was there in a hurry. That's Wayne Smith, the young man out of Purdue.
You asked me about last week. LA.
What was that play? That was tentative. Even the fakes weren't even much good on the pass action, were they?
Not much there at all. LA had the ball 14 series last week, 13 times inside of San Francisco's 50-yard line and got 17 points. So they just couldn't capitalize in field position. Here they're bottled back in their own territory, and they need to get something going here.
Yeah, that kind of a game when you've got field position and no points, that'll give you a Lego or something as a coach. It looked like a jump offside by Purifoy, and the flags are down. Hayden's being chased by English. Almost complete the pass out in the flat to Billy Waddy, but I believe the Rams are going to pick up 5 for an offside jump. Maybe Hayden's voice is changing, because it looked like Purifoy was trying to read the cadence.
They try to guess now and then. Of course, you're told to watch the football and don't guess with the quarterback.
Well, if you trust a quarterback, you'll buy land in Florida or something.
Offside, number 75, defense.
A quarterback, you get into a favorite way of calling signals, and maybe it's a 2 count, and even though you try to change it up, you get into that. And defense, if you can pick it up, of course, it can be to your advantage, but it's still the long run is don't take a chance. Don't guess with the quarterback. You got to look at the football.
Second down and 6. Hayden straight back. Going across the middle, wide open. Arnold, the tight end, takes the reception.
Told you this quarter you're going to see it. Same play they had before. Bryant out in the flat. Tyler short. Arnold in that seam. He's got Bryant out in the flat out here, and Arnold's going into that seam behind the linebackers, and of course they're up. Bryant's well covered, but he got behind number 40 that time, and good shape. Jimmy Allen couldn't get back, and big play.
And the thing was, it was just deep enough, as you said, to get out of that flak area with the linebackers, and right before you run into the safety man, Oldham made the tackle on that, and it's a big first down. First cheer the crowd has had for a while. 1:04 left in the first. A 10-7 Detroit lead. Straight outside. Denard takes it, steps out. Hector Gray watches him again. Of course, Denard is probably setting up the out and up a little bit, or the straight.
Well, here's what happens on a play like this, though. You guess on first down. You hope you don't get those cornerbacks coming up, the safeties back. If you have man-to-man out there, you can take this all day. But the next time, they'll bring the cornerbacks up, the safeties back, then you got to lay it off to a back. But as long as you can get a straight-ahead defense with the cornerbacks back, you can hit that 5 or 6 yard out every time. The defense will compensate by bringing the cornerbacks up and then getting held deep with the safety. So it's a guessing game a lot of times in the first down.
But if you're hitting the tight end, you can make them play a little bit straight with the catch. A straight drop back by Hayden, going for all of it. Going up the field. Intercepted at the 10-yard line by Jimmy Allen. Being run back now. Denard misses him. He's still on his feet. Gets to just over the 30-yard line. Jimmy Allen with the interception of a ball that was vastly underthrown.
Well, Hayden waited too long on that play. He really didn't have enough oomph on that ball, but a lot of it, he just let the receiver get too far downfield and underthrew it very bad. And in fact, Allen, who was behind the play, waited for the football like he was returning a punt.
Who was it, for Billy Waddy going up that sidelines?
It was for Waddy down the sideline.
Fastest player on the Rams team. Let's see it.
Here's where Hayden, he stops and he throws. It's thrown a little bit late, but it was well underthrown here. Allen catches it to the inside. He's also covered very well by Wayne Smith to the outside, so there wasn't much on that play. And Waddy didn't even have a chance to break up the interception.
I formation handoff. Dexter Bussey out of the I formation, the up back. Gets out over the 40-yard line. Cromwell having to make the tackle. I noticed that the two safety men, Johnson and Cromwell, have like 77 tackles between them.
It's not a good sign for your defense.
It's bad for your shoulders. Get to where you can't even sign your checks. Or your markers, whatever. 1st and 10. A good run. As Roger Staubach said, Dexter Bussey is really underrated. 12 seconds left in the first period. The toss back to Billy Sims. Sims takes his time, picks his hole, gets to the 45. Mike Fanning making the tackle with Eckern helping. The Rams flattened out a little bit after that burst.
Well, you're seeing the best rushing team in the NFL going against this Ram defense. At one time, this Ram defense really shut them down. Now they're 10th against the rush, and Detroit's moving the ball on the ground.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score is 10-7 Detroit.
Hey, you're going to need help. Yeah, electric saws get tired easy.
Not the new McCulloch.
An electric McCulloch?
Yep, it's warranted for 2 years. Twice as long as other electrics.
Oh, yeah? Bet it can't outlast the two of us. Sure, eats quiet. It's sharpening itself. Hey, that's cheating.
Oh, that's Auto Sharp. Even has chain brakes. For safety.
I quit. Me too.
Sorry, boys. McCulloch wins again.
I know how to win next time. Ow. Pull the plug.
See our full line of electric and gas chainsaws at your nearby McCulloch dealer.
The high cost of financing a car. Now there's a way to beat it with upfront money from Ford and Lincoln Mercury. Get $400 to $500 upfront on Escort or Lynx, $600 on Mustang or Capri, $700 on EXP or LN7. Apply it to your down payment or get a check from Ford or Lincoln Mercury. Upfront money, because the less you have to pay, the less you have to finance.
Your day is long and your work is hard, and your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme, the real West.
by dawn's early light. There is some breeze, but not blowing at the moment. An old defensive back, I'm sure of that. Well, there were a lot of crazy goblins out last night, weren't there, huh?
There was some real beauty.
Yeah, there certainly were. Here's the handoff, inside drive play. Billy Sims breaking 3 tackles and still on his feet. Fantastic. Eckerd finally making the stop. Doss, 3 or 4 took a ride.
Well, he just bust this one. Good lead block up front by Bussey, and of course a nice block also down on the by the left tackle, Baldesweiler. And of course Sims shows his strength right here. He's got excellent balance. He's got the quickness, the speed, but he's got strong upper body also. And he just busts through a couple of hand tackles. You can't tackle people with your arms, especially running back like Sims. And he's down there for a few extra yards just with his pure strength.
Boy, he can lay it in there, too. He looks like a graceful runner. 13-yard gain, 1st and 10 on the 40 now. Lions are really putting it to it. Good inside run by Dexter Bussey. Rams look like they're catching on defense a little bit. Dallas, the field goal by Rafe Septien, 3-0. How far a field goal was that? 32-yarder,
32 yards.
I don't think that score will hold up in that game.
It's going to be a low-scoring game.
Okay. 2nd down and 7, a 3-yard pickup. Lions tempo sewed up at 7-7 tie in the 2nd quarter. That one hasn't changed for a while. Eric Hipple seems to lead this team. He's breaking them out of the huddle. Danielson's been working with him, and looks like it's working. Bussey in motion. Now they lead that way. The reverse. Cut off by Eckerd, but he gets back inside. Andrews making the stop as Leonard Thompson tries the end around.
Well, Hipple got a nice block on Cody Jones, or Jones would have made the tackle back there. Here's a pitch out to Sims, and it's a handoff back on the reverse. And watch Hipple, number 17. He gets the block on Cody Jones, and of course Eckern's across there, and they destroy the play. That play was red all the way.
You get people shifting around on defense, you know, you're liable to run into one of your own players over there. Brings up a passing situation. Horace King is in the backfield. It's 3rd and 19 facing Mr. Hipple. Straight drop. He's being rushed, and he's going to be sacked. Good rush from the left side. Probably Mike Fanning. He and Youngblood can play that side, and Big Mike and Youngblood went under.
They're coming in from Hipple's right, but it's Fanning and Youngblood putting the pressure, and then Fanning comes around. Youngblood comes inside, and of course Youngblood gets the trap.
And beats a good offensive tackle, Keith Dorney, to do it. Jack Youngblood and Fanning. Tommy Skladany now will come in. Great sense of humor. He held out one year, remember, before the Lions got a hold of him, and he's going to be around a long time. This young man puts ice on the football. He can really kick it. They don't run back many. He's nailed the coffin corner on 15 punts so far this year, the best. He's aiming for the corner. Let's see what happens. Ooh, just pull it down the left side of the fairway, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. The Rams have held with 12:21 left before halftime. Detroit, though, has a 10-7 lead. Malavasi's got him humming. He better.
Alone at last.
But Phil, look.
Huh? Oh, that. Doris, I need the blimp behind me because...
Three's a crowd, Phil.
Phil may not know that Goodyear radials and their components have hundreds of quality checks behind them, but he sure likes the mileage he gets.
Doris will go a long way with the blimp behind us.
Mileage. One more reason Goodyear is out front worldwide.
I should have married Stanley. He just has a dog.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got a third less calories than their regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Monday after Liberty, can Private Benjamin keep the squad from going AWOL? Then the two of us entertain royalty, and it turns out to be a royal pain. Outrageous comedy, Monday.
I asked you what they call the girls out here, and you said cheerleaders. Give me that old Midwestern answer, huh?
Chorus girls, maybe in this day and age. It used to be cheerleaders.
That's true. I know it wasn't Pom Pom Mom. I can spot her anywhere. The best field position for the Rams so far. Tyler gets out to almost the 25-yard line as Gary Cobb, young man from USC, playing the left side for the Lions, made the tackle.
He's an old Cowboy draft choice, 9th round, and he really has made himself into a football player. He lifts weights. He was man of the year in the weight room. He's really kind of worked his way into being
man of the year in the weight room.
That's right. He's strong. He's worked hard. They feel he's just worked himself into being the football player he is right now. And that's a credit to him.
There's no replacement for hard work. I don't care what you do. Second down and 5 to the 25. High formation, toss back. Oh, fumbled off the hip. It's recovered by the Lions. It's still a live ball.
They jump. Lions had their 2 inside men, Gay and English, look like they both jumped. They're getting jumpy in there. It's about the 3rd or 4th time there's been a question.
Looks like the Lions may have gotten in there. Fantetti thought he came up with it. Rams kept the ball. Pretty good job by one of the offensive linemen. And the one thing Wendell Tyler has been known for, other than explosive runs, is fumbling the football.
It's not anything fun to be known for.
No.
But it is a rap that he's had, and
it's not a rap. It's just something that happens. He's not that big at 196 pounds, and he fumbles.
Offside, number 78 and 79. Defense, second down.
You were right. 2 tackles jumped. English and Gay.
You shouldn't fumble just because you're 195, Tom. He's still got big hands.
Well, I just think
he took his eye off the pitch right there. It was a little bit behind him, but of course that offside was costly for the Lions.
Good recovery. Second down to go. And that one he's going to throw on second shot. Finds Arnold for 35, and he's knocked out of bounds immediately. Oldham making the stop there. Good throw that time. St. Louis with another one, 21-0 Washington over St. Louis. Jim Hart hadn't gotten them on the board yet.
Cardinals are kind of every other week.
Exchange of field goals, a 3-3 tie. Willie Miller is in the game. All he's ever done that I've seen in games is catch the football. Willie Miller's a good receiver, number 82. His voice cracked that time. I think somebody jumped off sides.
Curtis Green that time. They're taking turns jumping off sides.
But didn't his voice sound funny that time?
False start, offense.
He has changed his inflection in his voice. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally or not, but it's...
Maybe he was doing the boogaloo with us last night at the... No, he really wasn't. I don't want to say that because we were just out to a Halloween party and I didn't see anybody dressed as a ram. I saw the devil.
Well, they're going to go with the Rams this time. Again, the Rams drew Green offsides.
False start, number 11, offense, first down.
They are getting for that, yeah.
You must have developed a lisp or something.
No, I mean, you can do it intentionally. You've got to maintain a consistency in your signal call, and you can't just all of a sudden on one series, especially down near the goal line or something, get people to jump off sides. So that's what they accused him for that time.
Tough situation. 1st and 15 now. The Rams showing a little bit of disorganization, at least on this series. Here's Tyler with the misdirection handoff. Fantetti drills him at the 35.
I think drill is a good word, Tom, for Fantetti. He drills people.
From Wyoming.
Going down faster than the stock market right here after Fantetti. It's a wham.
Don't editorialize. You'll get us in trouble. Second down and 9 on the 36. Tom Brookshire with Roger Staubach out in California, and it is gorgeous. The Rams are trailing by 3 after getting on the board first because this man ran 69 yards right up the middle on a track play. Second down, call it 10. Great drop back. Going deep. Hayden going all the way up for Denard. Closely covered and almost intercepted. Hector Gray was running step for step.
Well, you look at films, and that's how you set up your game plan, and Detroit has really given up the big play. Here's
Doug
the play.
On the sidelines.
Big Doug on the sideline. Here's the play here. We were waiting for it to showing the fine defensive coverage by Hector Gray.
Bet you that's good.
He has perfect position.
Ball is thrown 55 yards in the air.
The Lions have had a propensity to give up that big play. And I'm sure they've worked on it. And so far in this game, they've been in excellent position on the bombs.
Third down and 10. On the 36 caller, 35 and a half. Straight drop back. Hayden being rushed, and he's going to be sacked. Number 79, William Gay, wrapped him up. The crowd getting a little bit angry now.
William Gay does not like quarterbacks. No question about that. I hear he's a nice guy, though.
He's another guy from USC. You know, he's played just down the road in college. I can't believe he's gotten so nasty.
Well, you meet him in church and you'd really like him, but if you're a quarterback, you sure don't like him out here. He's still, of course, they got the pressure inside, and Gay kind of made the late sack, but boy, once he got Hayden, it was Katie bar the door there.
Frank Corral kicking. Robbie Martin will be back on the Detroit 25. The Lions have sort of taken it to the Rams after the original shock of a 69-yard touchdown run against the best defense against the rushing league. This one is shanked off to the right side. It's going to take an LA bounce. This was not a very good punt by Corral. Touchdown at the 37, a 31-yard kick. Hipple comes on the field with a 3-point lead, 9:48 left in the second.
Into 1,000 tomorrows comes a car made of the right stuff. The 1982 Toyota Celica, aerodynamically conceived to be efficient, not just different. Its new wedge shape with retractable headlights cheats the wind for a performance not even reached in many sports cars. The 1982 Toyota Celica, the right stuff for the right time, right now. Celica.
New Colony Classic Chablis is incredibly smooth. So smooth, we even challenged Almaden to an independent taste test. Colony Classic Chablis versus the normally more expensive Almaden Mountain Chablis. The result? 61% preferred the taste of New Colony Classic. Compare Colony Classic yourself. Discover why the new taste of Colony has made the road to success so very, very smooth.
The band is playing, and really the fans are sort of praying right now for the Rams to get something going. Detroit 10-7 lead. Oh-ho! A 2-yard run by Wilburn Montgomery. Eagles.
An upset to make it.
Well, that score is probably not going to hold up either. Some people that have come from Detroit out here, they may never go back home. The weather is gorgeous. First and 10, the ball's on the 38. Thompson's the man in motion. Here's the fake inside. Hipple with a lot of time. Going to the outside. Looked like it was a catch or a trap. They're going to give it to him. No good.
Well, Hipple would like to have this back. Leonard Thompson does a good job. It's about a 20-yard sideline on Irvin, and Hipple's back this time, and he just doesn't get enough on it. He had plenty of time, and the ball's just short.
Irvin fell down.
Irvin fell down, and actually Thompson could have had that football. It was low, but it definitely was catchable, seen on the replay there.
He doesn't drop many of them. Hipple a little bit under on that throw, and he really wasn't rushed. Second down and 10 on the 38. Four-man front. Coming for the Rams, and the blitz may be coming. They're faking the blitz and called it off. Hipple back under a rush by Youngblood. Goes to the outside for Davey Hill, who's open at the 40-yard line. Finally chased by Cromwell, but Dave Hill was wide open, and the ball was right on.
Well, Hill caught 9 last week, and Hipple's really enjoyed the opportunity to throw to David Hill. David Hill, I was in the Pro Bowl with him time or two, and that son of a gun is a good football player. He's been left out of the offense somewhat. I don't know whose fault that is, but here he makes a big play on Cromwell and made a nice adjustment. The Rams gave that blitz look, the pressure look, came out of it, and Hill was man-to-man on Cromwell. They doubled the wide receivers, and he was man-to-man on a fine defensive back. Good play.
34-yarder. I don't know how that tight end got across there with it that easily. Somebody should have jacked him up somewhere. Man in motion is Thompson. Handoff. That's Spence Thompson. Young man out of Villanova getting his first carry to the 20. Rod Perry making the tackle. Pat Thomas has really missed, though, at the corner spot for the Rams. Don't you think?
He's missed also on third down because that prevents them bringing in an extra back. With Thomas in there, they could have brought Irvin in on third down. So it's one less defensive back, and of course a very good one in Thomas.
Yeah, all-pro caliber almost. He and Perry are about as two good at corners as Roger ever threw against. Okay, second down and 3 on the 21. Here's the quick draw play. As Spence Thompson bucks his way down inside, pretty close to that first down. He may have it. The flags are on the field. What kind of a surface is this? Do you like the grass here at Anaheim?
It's excellent. It's in good shape. They filled it in after the baseball situation. The grass has had a chance to...
Holding was called, not on this lovely young lady, but on some Detroit line.
But it's nice to play on this grass field. Of course, Billy Sims said he would rather play on grass. In the Silverdome, of course, they're on AstroTurf, so he plays a lot on AstroTurf. It gets a little bit hard on your knees and your feet.
Number 73, offense, second down.
Keith Dorney having some problems with Jack Youngblood. Oh, was that Bollinger? I'm sorry. Russ Bollinger.
I think it was, Tony.
Right guy.
My picture?
Look at this.
Wow.
Talk about being laid back. In the sun of Southern California. Second down and 13 to go. The ball's now on the 31. It's a pro set. Drop back by Hipple. It's going to screen to the outside. It's knocked away by Cody Jones.
That screen was read all the way. Jim Youngblood had Horace King, and this is what you don't like on a screen pass is man-to-man coverage. Youngblood came all the way across with King. He had him man-to-man all over the field, so there was no hope there. Hipple did a good job just getting rid of the football.
Does Hipple have a good drop? It looks to me like he sort of staggers back sometimes on his drop.
Well, he's probably a little hesitant. He's looking downfield trying to read things, and your drop becomes a little erratic at times, but he's got good speed. He gets back quickly. He's got a good release. And
we're going to see right now, it's third down and 13. The pass rush is on. The blitz is coming. Stays in there going for Hill, and it's a great catch while being covered at the 15-yard line. Johnny Johnson hanging all over Dave Hill.
Was that a nice catch?
And a good throw.
You know, what they're doing on the blitz, again, Hill has got the ability. He's the one that they're going to go to on the blitz. He makes the adjustment. This time he just broke down and out. Hipple knew that was the receiver when he saw the blitz. Of course, the ball was laid out front. Pretty good coverage by Johnson. Just a great catch by David Hill that time. And a nice throw by Hipple. He got it out in front. Once you get a hand on him, I guess you're supposed to catch it.
Well, he's got the good release, like you said, Roger. 18-yarder. This is Dave Hill day. Looks like he's going to put big games back to back.
Well, that's a good catch right there. That's good concentration. He just knocked it up in the air enough where he could run under it and get the first down, and they're in pretty decent shape on the 12-yard line.
Great to have a tight end like that. First and 10 on the 12-yard line. Slot left. Hipple back to throw. Going to the outside. This one will be out of bounds. A waste pitch. Freddie Scott, the intended receiver.
He got hit after he threw the football, but this offensive line of Detroit's doing a good job. Dorney has his man. I don't know if that's holding or not, but
he should have held him better than that.
There was a hit that could have been just a tad late right there. Thompson was doubled to the outside, really. There wasn't much of a chance. Perry had him outside and Cromwell was inside. So
if you're going to hold Youngblood, though, you better do a good job of holding him. Don't let him go after you do it. Second down and 10 on the 12. Numbers on Eric Hipple. They're ganging the line of scrimmage. Inside running play. Gets to about the 10-yard line. That's Horace King. Doss is in there for Larry Brooks. And I always considered Brooks, when he was healthy, as one of the great all-around defensive linemen in football. Number 9.
He was a real plus for the Rams. They didn't draft him high. He came in and has just done an outstanding job for him. On that particular play, the guy you talked about up front in the beginning of the game was Jim Youngblood. He made a nice play. He came down the line and really stopped the play. Jim has been nursing some wounds, knee and elbow.
San Diego with a Chuck Muncie 4-yard touchdown run on top of Kansas City. Back quickly, looking like he's setting up something over the middle. It's going to be intercepted at the goal line by Leroy Irvin. Are they going to call it a touchback? They'll call it a touchback. The momentum of the tackle drove him back into the end zone.
Well, this play was broken down at the start. It was a play-action fake on third down. Of course, they're looking for the pass anyway. It looked like he faked the screen over to the other side and was going to try to get the ball to Horace King, and just threw it very poorly right here. Made a poor decision. He just had the pressure on him, got hit, and should not have thrown that football. Cost him a field goal.
The engineers of Mercedes-Benz have created an advanced diesel power system. Its heart, this compact turbocharger. And this system has just transformed 2 more diesels into high-performance turbo diesels. Mercedes-Benz unleashes the 300D sedan and the 300CD coupe. Now with 45% more power. The 300D sedan and the 300CD coupe. the two newest turbo diesels from Mercedes-Benz.
An army post is a lot like a modern city. It has computer programmers, X-ray technicians, laser experts, and hundreds of other specialists. The difference is that cities just hire these people. The Army trains them. In fact, if you qualify, we'll guarantee the skilled training of your choice in writing.
Next weekend, the champion Michael Spinks is undefeated. He faces a challenge of Bonzel Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship next weekend on CBS Sports Saturday.
David Finch, our mini cam man, got quite a replay for you, Roger, right
Here's
here.
Ivory Sully's the nickel back, and he blitzes on this play, and he faked out to the outside, but King was the man. Sully really got into his face, and really Hipple just basically should have either ate the football or threw it in the ground.
There he is. Uh-oh, he's on the move. Get those cheerleaders, keep those cameras hot.
What you don't want to do is take a sack or throw an interception when you're in that field goal range. It's costly.
Rutledge is the quarterback. Jeff Rutledge, a big roar, of course. First handoff to Mike Gooman coming up the middle. Rutledge out of Alabama, 6'2", 190-pounder. He's 21 of 38 for this year, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What do you think about him as a quarterback, Roger? Have you watched Rutledge throw?
We had that great game against Atlanta. He's been in and out. Of course, Hayden's not hurt. They're just making a change. Pat has been having some inconsistency problems. He's moved the team last week against San Francisco, but they just haven't been able to get the ball in the end zone. And you go to the quarterback. Rutledge, when he's played, has moved the football team and has scored.
Average on first down, pretty even. Score is pretty close, too, only a 3-pointer. Here's Rutledge back, throws the screen to Gooman in the left flat. Good recovery play by the cornerback on the right side, Hector Gray.
Gray did a nice job on that, Tom. He came off late and made the play. Rutledge really got out there a little bit quick. He didn't look downfield long enough. There's Gooman, number 26, throws away a block, gets around Ken Hill, and does a good job. Hector Gray is coming to his own and filling in very nicely and doing an excellent job. Luther Bradley.
What a heck of a play he made to beat 2 guys trying to block him. That's some play. Give those cornerbacks some credit. 31-24 in the fourth quarter. Green Bay over Seattle. It's 3rd down and 6. Rutledge. Straight drop back. Being pressured. Being sacked on the 10-yard line as Doug English buried him.
Doug English, the Texas oil man, has really put a lift in this Detroit team when he came back this year. They've got a nice front four with English and Gay and Purifoy, and old Bubba's out for this game. What if he was in there? These guys are really
there
putting
he is on the sidelines there. Yeah. Doug English, didn't he go to the channel outside of England and drill some oil last year? Somebody just took a year off?
He was in the drilling program.
He's big enough to do it with his hands. Robbie Martin back to take the return. Rutledge couldn't get him going. Frank Corral kicking from the end zone. His last kick very short. Nobody feels worse about that than the kicker. Maybe his family. This is a low kick. It's a driving kick. Martin back to the 41. He's got some room to run. He's got speed. He makes the corner, almost makes it, and gets into Ram territory. Dumped by Arnold, the tight end, on that special teams going down. It's a 10-7 lead now. Detroit over the Rams with 4:53 left in the second quarter.
Look out, world.
Here comes Ford EXP.
Brand new 2-seat, moving to the upbeat. You and me will leave the world behind us. Catch us if you find us.
Introducing life's most exciting number, 2. As in he and she, you and me, and high mileage 2-seat Ford EXP.
Look out, world.
Ford EXP for the 2 of you. Just the 2 of you.
Here comes new, here comes now, here comes Ford.
I've had to write some tough things about some tough guys. But there's one guy I can't write anything bad about. His unique brand of baseball has made him a living legend. So have his commercials. They got me to try his favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Light's less filling, and it really tastes great. So I bought this light for that renowned, yet humble man, Arthrunger.
Cheer up, Billy. One day you'll be famous just like me.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The Reverend calls them proponents of filth. They call him a two-faced demagogue. 60 Minutes goes to a fight over a small-town library tonight on CBS.
The Los Angeles Rams on the sidelines. The team, though, having had to punt. The Lions have it in Ram territory. Don't forget at halftime, Brent Nerve back in New York with all the updated action. A lot of Motor City fans are out here in California. First and 10 on the 49. Gary Kipple all the way. Inside handoff to Billy Sims, who's got some outside room. Irvin missed him. Jack Youngblood finally made the tackle, and Sims just seems to start it, stop it, and turn it on.
Well, you don't coach that. You give him that limp leg, you know. He gives it there and takes it away from Irvin that time. That's just a natural instinct that the great ones have, and Jimmy Brown had it, and Sayers had it, and Simpson.
Rutledge continuing to warm up in the bullpen. Tommy Lasorda's probably coming to the stadium today, and we'd like to maybe have the manager stop by and say hello, the world champion manager. Los Angeles Dodgers. Here's the I formation on 2nd down and 4. 6-yard pickup by Sims. Here's Sims. Oh, he breaks through, gets a line. Look out. Into the secondary. Good tackle by Rod Perry. And Perry did what you have to do. You have to wait an extra second with a great runner before you put the shoulder in there.
That's exactly. He held his ground that time and just hung in there tough and wasn't going to let Sims get back to the outside. And, of course, he makes a nice stop.
What a runner. Billy Sims averaged over 7 yards a carry at Oklahoma and was redshirted one whole year with an injury. Just think if he had a chance to play. 53 yards on 10 carries for Billy Sims. Money in the bank, the Detroit Bank. First and 10 on the 30. Hipple back to throw. He sets up. He's getting some pressure from Cody Jones and is going and overthrows number 20. Billy Sims down around that 15-yard line. Boy, he got a lot of pressure from Cody Jones from the backside.
Yeah, it's fortunate that Sims even got to that football. Irvin was waiting for it, waiting for the interception, just sitting there, had his hands open, and Sims just got that hand. He doesn't get that hand on it, it's an interception. In fact, it was not a play that they were hoping to get Youngblood man-to-man, but Irvin was sitting back there in a zone, and Hipple really picked out the wrong receiver to throw to.
2nd down and 10 on the 30. The Rams anticipating pass. The numbers not too impressive, but the TD certainly was a great throw to Dave Hill. Inside handoff to Rick Kane, number 32, in for Billy Sims. It gets almost to the 20. Cromwell having to make that tackle. That a quick trap off the left side there?
It was, and Kane came in last week, had 80 yards, 21 carries, and here's just a quick hitter inside. Good block. Number 61, Homer Elias, blocks to the other side. Number 73 also throws a pretty good block in there, Russ Bollinger. And Kane gets into that hole quickly. Little spin, 2 extra yards of that spin.
When Sims was out for 2 weeks, Kane filled in very well, have over 180 yards rushing in the 2 weeks, and was very stable in there. Here's the short yardage, 3rd down and 1. 2 tight ends in there, and somebody looked like they might have been offside. I don't yet. The flag falls now. Kane gets the carry in the first, but I believe the Rams jumped on that.
I think one of the biggest men on the field jumped offside that time. Murphy, number 95.
Eckerd made the tackle.
There he is, Big Phil. Nice job by Kane. He's an impressive runner. They've got good running backs. They got a little depth in this Detroit backfield with Kane and King and Dexter Bussey, Sims.
Offside, number 95, defense, declined, first down.
A lot of penalties, a big factor in this first half already for the Rams. It just keeps you from putting anything together, from tying a rope on a real good game plan. You're always stuttering and trying to figure out, how do I get everything back together? 1st and 10 now on the 15-yard line. The Lions are driving 2:33 before halftime. They lead by 3. Well, you're right on the line of scrimmage. Handoff to Kane. Smothered there.
You know, Tom, excuse me, when you're inside that 20-yard line, you can expect a blitz. That's an unbelievable amount of blitz. You got the end zone to back you up, so you can play a lot of man-to-man coverage down there. And, of course, that time, L.A. blitz. You just have to be ready for it, and you can really hurt a team inside the 20 by throwing on 1st down. course, Detroit elected to try to run the football in, and they need to get something out of this series. They were down there the last time through the interception. You can't do that too often against a good team like LA. You got to get something when you're down inside that 20-yard line.
And get something is what they are trying to do. The timeout has been called. Cromwell comes to the Ram bench, and Hipple wants to check out with the coach. We'll be back in just a moment. That's the 2-minute warning.
This is the automatic Olympus OM2. OM2, top of a new world of single-lens reflexes. Sophisticated, precise, world's first camera to measure light off the film for electronically accurate exposures. The revolutionary OM2. Olympus, camera of professionals, of all who demand no less than excellence. Take no pictures less than great. Olympus OM2, excellence by design.
All across the country, you'll see signs announcing the best gas mileage car in America. The Honda Civic 1300 FE with an estimated EPA 41 miles per gallon and a remarkable 55 estimated highway miles per gallon. Use 41 for comparison. Your mileage may vary. So every time you see this sign, think of this car, the new fuel-efficient Honda Civic.
Honda, we make it simple. That looks like a studio scene. Nobody's moving or cheering. They're quiet. We're in Anaheim, and while the shirts are off, the points are down. The Rams trail 10-7. They led 7-0 on the burst, the 69-yarder by Tyler. And boy, since then, Detroit has sort of laid the leather on and driving for another one. 2nd down and 8, going in on the 13. Hipple, the quarterback. Eric Hipple. Double wing formation. It's going to be the quarterback draw. There's a fumble, and it's recovered by number 61. Elias fell on it. Hipple is a running quarterback, but not without the ball.
Well, they had the blitz look. They had everybody up close to the line of scrimmage, and if you're going to run a draw on that blitz, you've got to be awfully lucky. That would have been a good time to audible.
Reggie Doss forces this.
Here it is. The people on a blitz, you got stunts inside, and you don't want to run a draw when you know you're going to blitz, because that inside stunt by Fanning that time and Doss, they just came pinched inside because they had the linebackers filling their gaps, and it's almost impossible to run a draw on a blitz unless you get lucky and hit that open area, but your percentages are not good.
Hipple has 4 touchdown carries in 2 games, so running might have been an idea. He might forget that. Slot left now on 3rd down. Straight drop back beat chased, and Harris makes the sack. Joe Harris, number 51, the linebacker fired.
Well, Hipple's mad at himself right there. He's either that or he's telling somebody they missed an assignment. But Joe Harris has been a big play guy for LA. He comes in special situations, and of course here he is on the blitz, and he's just not touched. Someone did not come off, and it could have been number 32 wasn't blocking anyone at that time, Rick Kane. So there was a missed assignment right here.
Why didn't he keep a back in then? I think he did. Back picked up one blitzer, and there were just too many people coming.
There was 2 people coming, and Kane did try to block number 47, Urban, and just too many people coming.
Murray from the 35, a 45-yard field goal attempt. He's already made a big one. He can kick. Boy, that's strong and straight. If it's there, it's there. That's about a ton.
That'll perk you up after those traps also.
The lead goes up. 13 points unanswered. It's Detroit 13-7. 39 seconds left before half.
The American Red Cross has been there when neighbor needed neighbor for more than 100 years.
Hi, I'm Paula Bollinger, and this is my husband, Russ Bollinger, the Detroit Lions.
And we're here at a special Red Cross swim program. We'd like to show you what it's all about.
Come on up. I can remember when I was a boy passing my course and earning my Red Cross beginner swimming card. Really important to me at that time.
We, like a lot of people in Michigan, live near a lake, and knowing how to teach young people to swim is important.
The Red Cross is there in times of emergencies and disasters. Through more than 3,000 local chapters, they're providing services, water safety, guiding young people, helping the blind, the handicapped, the aged. Through your support of United Way, you're assuring that the Red Cross will be there when people need them. And thanks to you, it really works for all of us, the United Way.
Come on, gang, let's go swimming!
Thanks to Big Russ Bollinger, the Detroit offensive guard who did such a job. That preceding message, by the way, was furnished by the National Football League. And there sits Pat Hayden. And is there any lonelier place for a starting quarterback to be than on the bench?
That's a frustrated Pat Hayden.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
Well, I was on the bench at the beginning of my career, but I really wasn't convinced after I got started. Pat's been in and out, and that is what's frustrating.
Imagine a low kick by Murray, brought out over the 40. I like that fella, you know, and everybody says leadership and all, and you lead by example, and I think he's a much more effective quarterback probably than the critics have given him credit for.
They've got on him a little bit. He's keeping his helmet on the sidelines, which shows that the fans are a little mad at him.
Don't forget next weekend, the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship, Michael Spinks against Vonzell Johnson from Atlantic City, live on CBS Sports Saturday. Jeff Rutledge is the quarterback, number 8, one of Bear Bryant's boys. Straight drop back, backs around, a little bit of rush, but no factor, and Waddy catches it down into Detroit territory. Gary Cobb making the tackle. Timeout call by the Rams. They burned one, so they have 2 more left. And they have 25 seconds. Rutledge. You start naming Alabama quarterbacks, you go all the way back to like Bart Starr, Stabler, and Namath, and Hunter, and
been some good ones out there.
Boy, just Bear gets a hold of him, you know.
Todd. That was a good throw by Rudd. He really zinged that into that open area with a lot of heat on him. Curtis Green, almost every play now in the passing game, Detroit has put somebody into a position to put pressure on the quarterback. The defensive line has impressed me a great deal.
Well, Floyd Peters, the defensive line coach, I think might be as good a technique line coach with young players as any coach in all of football. He's done a great job, and Monty gives him a lot of credit when they pass it out. Green Bay winning by 10 over Seattle. Bad days for Jack Patera. It's a great city up there, too. 1st and 10 on the 47. Straight drawback. Rutledge is hammered all the way back to the 40-yard line as Curtis Green comes through. A rookie from Arizona State.
That was a trick inside. Green kind of looped inside, and English took an outside move, and 2 men blocked on one, and Green, with that stunt right there, Kent Hill came off late, and it's a good move. It shows the kind of coach. He sees English going outside, now Green comes back inside right there. Hill went to block out on English and really got back late. They're supposed to zone it and take whoever comes in your area, but Hill started blocking on English, and Green came around the horn. That shows good coaching. Floyd Peters has done a great job because these guys just don't rush straight ahead. Yeah. They've got the stunts and the deals in that line of scrimmage.
But Doug France is normally the big offensive left tackle. Pankey, who's maybe one of the best offensive linemen in the league, is now hurt with his knee, and they've moved Slater all the way from right tackle to left tackle. And I think it's hard to handle a twisting, stunty defense with new people.
That time, though, that was Kent Hill, number 72, though. It just did not come off on the stunt. And there's the couple of big guys right there, but they're in the wrong uniform today.
And no pads on.
Civvies.
That's Brooks, of course, in the blue and white striped shirt there.
The big defensive tackle.
Pankey is on his left.
And we saw Doug France a little bit earlier over on the sidelines, not suited up. Pat Thomas is in civvies today, so the Rams are missing a few key players.
2nd down and 21, and the 4th sack was just registered by Detroit. Slot formation on the right side. Rutledge, he's going for a ton. It's overthrown and intercepted by number 40, Jimmy Allen. His 6th interception. He had one earlier. This is number 2 for the day. He even gave the ball back to the official.
I don't understand that. Rutledge just said, hey, I'm going to see how far I can throw it. Of course, there's 14, 15 seconds to go, but something over the middle with the timeout could have at least got him maybe into field goal range, but he just threw that up for grabs and threw it a little bit early as far as I'm concerned. They had a chance to get that 15, 18, 20-yarder timeout and maybe get a field goal. But that was just throw it and pray for it.
Well, you used to do that. I couldn't believe that statistic I saw on you, that you, in 11 years, you won 13 football games inside the last 2 minutes. I don't know if you even know that or care, but I just thought I'd throw that in. That's quite a record.
I don't know if anybody else cares about that.
They all know about it now.
I care.
Hipple takes the snap, puts the knee down. They're going to go into the halftime with a 6-point lead and all the momentum in this first half.
It's all Detroit the second quarter.
Malavasi takes the Rams into the home dressing room, and he's going to throw chalk and maybe some cleats around. Detroit with the lead. It's 13-7. 1 half a play left. Both teams came in 4-4, and one's going to be heading south.
The very first computers seemed as big as houses and so mysterious that for most of us, the computer was behind a closed door. But IBM was thinking how to make the computer more useful. And as one good idea led to another, it began getting smaller, faster, less expensive, and easier to use. Today, a new IBM computer has reached a personal scale. A person can afford it. A person can put it anywhere. Office, home, or school. And a person...
If the price of boots has kept you out of them, have I got news for you. Sears has genuine leather insulated boots for men.
And split suede hiking boots for women and men. Just $19.99 a pair. Save $10.
Lug sole, Goodyear welt construction, padded ankle, glove leather, or split suede. Now just $19.99. Hurry, sale ends Saturday. At $19.99, it's tough choosing between them.
At $19.99, you don't really have to.
For a great deal on boots, you can count on Sears.
Coming up on CBS Sports Saturday, Championship Boxing. Next weekend, the champion, Michael Spinks, is undefeated. Now he faces a challenge of highly ranked Bonzel Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. And in 3 weeks, he is considered by some as one of the greatest fighters ever. The awesome Alexis Arguello, fresh from his victory over Boom Boom Mancini. Now he's back in action against the formidable punching attack of Roberto Elizondo for the WBC Lightweight Championship. The champions here on CBS Sports.
Well, halftime at Anaheim, California. Tom Brookshire with Roger Staubach. Not a lot you can say about the first half, except the second quarter was all Detroit.
You got to be impressed, Tom, with Detroit, though. The L.A. really came out of the chute. And they haven't done that. They've been behind in games. The games have come out strong. They've pretty well dominated. But they came out extremely strong. Detroit was taken aback. But they came back strong, Detroit, with that screen pass and that score. I think Detroit is really maturing as a football team, and I think it's going to be a needed ingredient down this stretch. Last year they failed in the stretch, but I think they're gearing themselves for a pretty good stretch this year.
The thing is, they came in having not won a game on the road. All 4 losses came on the road, and that's got to sort of pick up the whole program to go in at halftime with the momentum, and that the game plan is sound and solid, and their secondary is playing much better, I think, probably than we were going to give them credit to be. Let's go right now back to New York City, where Brent and Irv are, and get those scores at halftime.
All right, Brookie, thank you so much. Indeed, we've got a lot of action to report right now. The key game out west, of course, was the San Francisco 49ers against Pittsburgh. They played it at Three Rivers Stadium, and the Niners came back to win again. First time in their history that they have won 6 straight. But it looked bleak because Joe Montana served up a couple of interceptions. After the game was over, he told us what happened.
Well, we had our Dwight Clark coming out of the backfield running an option pattern where he has a couple things he can do. He can run out, he can run a curl, or he just sits down. Well, Lambert had gone over to take him, so I went to look at the halfback, and he's running an out and up, and I just started to get into the grass, and there was some confusion over there, and I was trying to throw the ball over his head, and just then I was starting to be grabbed, and I didn't get my full arm into it, and it looked just as bad as it felt. We were expecting a blitz there, so we were trying to keep everybody in and just work one of our halfback one-on-one with Lambert. And he had chucked him good and had good position on him. I was looking for the halfback to cut across his face. I threw the ball trying to time it, and I threw it just a little bit early, and he read it one way and I read it another way, and that's the way it goes when you have a couple plays where you got to read a guy.
But Montana and the 49ers did not lose their poise. A halfback option. It was Walt Easley to Charlie Young at the 5-yard line. And then watch Easley whip that Steeler defense. And Montana will take it.
It feels good. Even though we didn't play well, we'll take this one on the road. Well, you know how it is. Where you can take a win on the road any way you can and go back home. And we got a tough game next week, and we start thinking about that now.
Any which way you can. Terry Bradshaw served up 3 interceptions. The next game, Atlanta goes out to San Francisco, and this afternoon the Falcons exploded down in the Superdome. They win it 41-10. One combination really lit up the scoreboard for Lehman Bennett. Here he is, Steve Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins. This is a 48-yard scoring strike. Before the day would be over, Jenkins would catch 5 passes for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here's the 48-yarder. And Irv, they still weren't finished. They just kept lighting it up.
Boy, I tell you, when you get the hot hand, Brent, you have to stay with it.
Now, as we look ahead to Atlanta and San Francisco, what do you see for that matchup next Sunday?
Very well played. Of course, both teams have fairly conservative offensive approaches. You know, San Francisco plays a fairly conservative offense. Their defense has come along exception one in the last few weeks, as we all well know. But the Falcons, of all things, believe it or not, are more concerned about their special teams play than their offense. I think it'll be a great matchup.
What's the toughest part of being a rookie defensive back in the National Football League?
Seeing the whole field. When you're a rookie, the only thing you see is the guy in front of you. It takes a lot of experience to be able to develop that peripheral vision.
Boy, Lott got experience fast. The Battle of New York is over, and it goes to the Jets easily 26-7. The Jets sacked Phil Simms 9 times in that game. Richard Todd 13 of 30 for 207 yards for the winner there. Miami a winner 27-10 over Baltimore. Tampa Bay down Chicago 20-10 was the count in that game. Cincinnati over Houston 34-21 was the final. Buffalo over Cleveland 22-13. Green Bay over Seattle, now a final. They beat them by 10, 34-24. And, of course, the game you're watching, Detroit and Los Angeles, all the news being made by Billy Simms of the Lions. He's coming back, everybody said. Well, what about this fellow Wendell Tyler here?
Boy, what a well-run play here. A trap off his left guard. Tyler, who possesses great speed, just burst upfield for a 69-yard scoring run. And it looked at this point in the game, Brent, that the Rams had things pretty well in hand. But everybody's happy.
Didn't reckon with the legend. Your friend Eric Hippo going to David Hill, and the Lions lead the Rams 13-7, and that game is at the half. The Oakland Raiders have gotten Mark Van Eegen back in that backfield, and he's making a difference right now. It's 13-10 over New England. Van Eegen has scored on a 3-yard run. Washington shutting out St. Louis 21-0. The storyline there is Joe Theismann. He's hitting everybody. Art Monk, he's one of your favorites with the Skins.
Love him. #1 draft choice a few years ago out of Syracuse. Has great speed and strength. Watch him just pull this ball down and gallop into the end zone.
What about this next player? Virgil Say. What's his name?
Virgil Say. You know, he's a deceptive fellow, has good speed, but tremendous concentration. You see that catch? He rambles in there for a 51-yard scoring strike.
Big John Riggins adding some muscle. This team is a little bit better than its record would indicate. Look for them now to come on in the second half of the season as they're really dominating the St. Louis Cardinals. San Diego over Kansas City right now, 19-7, trying to bounce back after that tough loss in overtime to the Chicago Bears. And in the big game, Philadelphia on a 2-yard run by Wilbert Montgomery takes a halftime lead on the Dallas Cowboys 7-3. The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee
Wednesday,
for
they were the perfect couple with the perfect American family until a brutal intruder ripped their dreams apart.
Some guy broke into our house this morning and raped your mother. Raped? Yeah, raped your mother.
I'm so angry. Struggling through rage and remorse, when she needed his strength, he needed revenge.
That guy took something that was mine.
I thought I was the victim.
But he, too, was a casualty. William Devane and Jennifer O'Neill star in a world premiere. The Other Victim, Wednesday.
This is CBS.
No bank or savings and loan can pay you more interest or save you more taxes on a new 1-year tax saver certificate than Wells Fargo. And none offers you the financial counsel of your own Wells Fargo personal banker. Maximum tax benefit, maximum interest. A personal banker to help you make the most of both. Only Wells Fargo delivers it all.
Not Porsche 924 Turbo. Not Datsun 280ZX Turbo. The Alfa Romeo GTV6 is the car Road and Track honored as the best sports GT. Best in its class for the 80s. It's also the most powerful Alfa ever sold in America. And now the convertible for today, Spider Veloce. Alfa Romeo. best GT.
American Airlines thinks a business traveler has no business waiting in line. After line, after line. That's why American gives you only one check-in line where you can get boarding passes for your entire trip instead of extra lines. Even pre-reserved seating up to 11 months in advance instead of waiting in more lines. So what are you waiting for?
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
The news team to watch.
On CBS Sports Saturday next week, Michael Spinks will defend his World Boxing Association light heavyweight championship against 9th-ranked Bunzell Johnson. Now, Spinks is unbeaten in 17 pro fights, but as Pat O'Brien found out, Spinks' toughest foe may have been the shadow of Big Brother Leon.
Be in pretty good shape. Michael Spinks was nervous. This was the comeback. For nearly a year, he'd been recovering from an injury and helping brother Leon cope with being heavyweight champ. Satisfied that Leon was okay, Michael stepped into the ring with only 5 days' notice, but apparently enough notice to put him well on his way to his own title.
I went on out with a dream that me and Leon could become, we could be sitting on top of the world together.
Leon had become an overnight phenomenon. In other words, the American dream had happened. The people who had moved in on Leon had turned Leon around to where Leon wasn't the Leon that he knew as his brother.
Michael called them leeches. Go ahead.
Yeah, leeches, right.
I said it's not going to happen to me.
That's right, man.
That's exactly what I said. I didn't say maybe it's not. I said no, I couldn't tolerate it. I sit back and saw him just all over Leon.
Because they were brothers and in the same profession, people have a tendency to think they're one and the same.
Leon's Leon and Michael's Michael. Leon liked things his way and I like things my way. I knew I was going to become world champion. I knew it. I didn't know how, when, or what way. I just knew it was going to happen because I was working towards it happening.
He just may have been thinking that during this, the comeback fight. A chance here for the other Spinks to get back into the spotlight. Correction. The comeback fight really wasn't a comeback fight because Michael Spinks has never lost a fight in his professional career. And now he works out daily, vigorously, here in the Catskills, preparing for his first title defense as the shadow of Leon Spinks fades with each day. Somebody else who wants to do it now is Vonzell Johnson, Leon Spinks' former sparring partner and Michael's rival.
I've been looking forward to fighting Mike, because like I say, I felt that if I was still amateur in '76, it would have been me and him showdown. It would have been a showdown for us then, so this is the showdown for us now,
Which would you rather be, tough or smart?
Smart.
Rich or famous?
I'd rather be famous.
Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports.
Chance to be both, I think, Irv. What about Michael's attitude?
Well, the people who know him well seem to think he's a very mature fellow, very stable, and knows exactly where he wants to go.
All right, that's next Saturday on CBS, 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 along the Pacific Network, and the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
If you want a truck that's all truck, this is what to look for. And if you want an engine that's all truck, this is what to look for. It's a powerful new 6.2-liter diesel designed exclusively for trucks. Available in full-size 1982 GMC pickups, four-wheel drive Jimmys, and GMC Suburbans. The new light-duty GMC diesel-powered trucks. Economical diesels that can haul a truck-size load. Even when we think small, we think big. At GMC, trucks are what we're all about.
time. Come on, I'm buying it.
Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear.
America's quality beer. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
Tom Brookshire with Roger Staubach in Anaheim Stadium out in California. The Rams trailing 13-7. A beautiful day, and the sun-baked crowd is waiting for something to happen. Dante Pastorini was on the sidelines, looking like he might warm up and play some. You like him as a quarterback? Is that a tough question?
Well, he's had his moments. The Rams say he looks real good in workouts. He's been throwing the ball well, and they were unhappy with Hayden in the first half.
Say hello to the world there, Roger.
They took Hayden out. Hayden's not hurt. Rutledge is in there, and there's a chance Pastorini might see some action. Eric Hipple did not have a great first half statistically, but when you look at it, he hit some big plays, the touchdown to Hill, the screen pass, and then the other long pass to Hill that set up the field goal. So Detroit, even though they've outplayed L.A., it's still only 13-7, Tom.
I think the Rams squad's got to pick it up, too. It looked to me like they flattened out like gangbusters in the second period. Here's Corral kicking off to start the second half. Remember, San Francisco's already won. Here's the run back. Is that Rick Kane back there running that back? Here's some stats from that first half. Rushing yardage, 110-69 coming for the Rams on Wendell Tyler's burst. They only ran the ball 12 times. Pretty balanced on the Detroit side. Turnovers, the 2 interceptions for Los Angeles, huh?
Well, the one big turnover, L.A., I think it cost Hayden his job in the first half. Number 64 is down on the ground, Larry Lee. So Hayden's throw down the right sideline, which was a big one. They had some momentum going, and that was intercepted by Jimmy Allen. I think set the exit for Hayden and also got the turnover, and Detroit has done a good job getting the ball on 2 interceptions. It's fairly even in the first half as far as when you look at the statistics.
Larry Lee being helped off the field, a big young special teams player, and he's awfully wobbly and had to be helped up. Tried to get up once and sort of went back down. Out of UCLA, of course, coming back to the Sun and Fun place. Right now, Larry Lee is going to have to be helped off the field. Talk about a sound when you've got that helmet on and you meet somebody head to head, as you did so many times, Roger. That is on Roger Staubach's shirt. That is down at the cuff. The Taste of Texas, number 2. Is that a brand or?
I grew up in the Midwest and went to school in the East, but we live in Dallas now. We're Texans. Our kid speaks Texanese.
What is Texanese?
I don't know.
Bilingual.
But the kids speak it.
There you go. At least a little bit better off now. As Gay and the guy say, "You okay now, big fella?" And the former U-Plan makes it off. Ball is out to the 27.5-yard line. They're calling it the 29, so go with the scoreboard. 1st and 10. I certainly hope so. Hipple, the quarterback from the eye. Handoff to Billy Sims. Sweepy left. Gets a good block at the line of scrimmage and gets to the 35. Nolan Cromwell making another tackle.
Sims in the first half, Tom, ran the ball 10 times. They didn't give it to him as much as we thought. He still averaged 5.3 yards a carry, so he's the key to any success in the second half. He ran with success. I think they need to give him the ball a little bit more.
Why do they help each other up? I'll be darned if I ever tackled anybody I wanted to help him up. I kept trying to knock him down. It always fascinates me. 2nd down and 4, a 6-yard gain for Sims, and he's got it again. Cuts back inside. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Cut off there by Jimmy Youngblood. The strong side attack. And I think Sims is a little better runner to the right side. Runners seem to have sides that they favor running to.
Most of them are. You practice and you get into those habits, and most of your plays are practice, and you run to the right side. And when you analyze a football game, when it's all over, about 70% of your plays will run to the right side. It's just a right-handed society, and teams practice that way, and so you do a better job when you go to the right, blocking-wise also.
A right-handed society. I can see us getting letters on that thing. It's a slot formation left. Now Thompson goes in motion back to the right. Straight drop back, and he's got a lot of time. Hipple's going over, and overthrows a wide-open receiver, number 87, Freddie Scott. Hipple was mad at himself.
Dr. Scott put a move to the post, broke out to the corner, and beat Irvin.
Dr. Scott?
Dr. Scott, he's studying for his medical degree. Here's the move to the inside, breaks back to the outside, gets Irvin turned around just wide open, and Hipple overthrows it. Hipple's in a tendency when you're maybe a little bit nervous, or you got that youth and inexperience, is when you start throwing the ball a little bit awry, it normally is high and overthrown.
Irvin back waiting for the punt. Spadani, the Buckeye, is going to punt. It looks like they might be thinking the Rams are trying to block it. They're putting a lot of people in the rush area. No, they're going to return it. This is not one of the better kicks. About the 28-yard line. This Leroy Irvin fumbles it, picks it up. The league's best punt returner has no return this time. May have lost a little bit. Terry Totola, the special teamers for Detroit, goes down and makes the tackle. Jack Youngblood is working on the oxygen, and the Rams will get the ball in their own territory.
This roomy, inexpensive Subaru station wagon not only goes far on a gallon of gas, it also goes almost anywhere on a gallon of gas, thanks to front-wheel drive. But if you want more traction than our wagon with front-wheel drive, we suggest our wagon with on-demand four-wheel drive. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Sunday, it's Clint Eastwood, brawling, loving, running wild. Bang. In his smash hit, Every Which Way But Loose, Sunday.
What a place to visit, Southern California. Right now, the Lions are enjoying their trip, and that the Rams do not like. Rutledge is still the quarterback, I formation. 1st and 10 out on the 26-yard line. The toss back to Wendell Tyler, running left. Gets out to almost the 30-yard line. Nothing developed. Curtis Green making the tackle, the right end. Wendell trying to get his first 100-yard day of the season. He's been into the 90s a couple of times this year, but he's got a chance. 96 on 8. And the burst for 69. What a Super Bowl game he had in a couple of Super Bowls ago against Pittsburgh. Pittsburghers knocked him out about 3 times, and he kept coming back in. Quite a gutty performance. 2nd down and 6 on the 30. Looks like the blitz coming from Detroit. No, they fake it and back out of there. Rutledge, he's got time this time. Dumps it over the middle. It's caught. And buried immediately is Wendell Tyler. Hector Gray making the tackle. Wendell took a pretty good shot that time.
This time Rutledge had a play call to the outside, but the cornerbacks came up, took away the outside, the safeties were back, and now you're in a zone. You got all the linebackers looking back at the quarterback. You got the tight end, the 2 backs hooking in the area. He looked over to the right to Tyler, came back over to the left to Bryant into that seam, and the protection really made the play. This time Detroit didn't get much. Here's Gay and Saul going at it. Gave Rutledge a chance to look around and complete that pass.
1st and 10 on the 38. Looks like he can run some draws. They're all standing straight up on the line of scrimmage on the defensive rush. Here's Rutledge back to throw. He's being chased, dumps it in the flat to Arnold, the tight end. He gets out over the 40 and right into the Detroit bench. Hector Gray right with him. And Rutledge got knocked down.
Here's William Gay again. Again, they're stunning in that line, and he's doing a good job. He comes off his block. It's basically straight ahead this time, and he just leaps over Dennis Harrer, number 60. Rutledge just kind of looked to the left at the last gasp. Arnold happened to be standing there. Wasn't the play that was set up that way, and it was a good salvage by Rutledge.
They cut those guys down a few times and make them play honest on the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, they'll have their hands in Rutledge's face the whole day. 2nd down and 6 on the 42. Waddy's in motion. Here's a reverse play. Back to Cullen Bryant, one of his few plays of the day. And the big fellow rattles down to the 30, make that the 44-yard line. Gary Cobb making the tackle. Bryant just hadn't been used much. He only had 2 carries in the first half.
Just a sweep to the outside. Ken Hill, number 72, is leading, and Bryant's trying to get some running room. Good force that time by Wayne Smith. He does his job and lets pursuit come in from the inside by Cobb and also Fantetti. Fantetti seems to be around the football wherever it is.
3rd down and 4 on the 44. What do you call here, Roger? What would you like to call if you were calling the run plays?
I'd do something to the tight end, head hook him in that seam, or maybe a back into the seam, get the first down, 4 or 5 yards.
Let's see what Rutledge does. He's working to Preston Denard coming across the middle. Preston's to the 36-yard line. Jimmy Allen making the tackle.
Well, that time Rutledge did a good job. He went downfield. He went for a whole bunch. The reason is they played the close people, the backs and the tight end, very tight. The linebackers were up close, trying to stop the first down, and there was nobody back there except the secondary. See, watch him get behind everybody right here this time. Preston Denard, he gets inside the cornerback. Now the linebackers are playing it extremely tight. It's 3rd and 4. There's just no one back there to help out with the secondary, and Rutledge hits the open area.
A 19-yard completion. Rutledge got a cheer out of the crowd. This play was stopped. Flags are down all over the place. Drew Hill had come in for Preston Denard to rest number 88.
False start, offense.
Another damaging small penalty, false start. Might be Jackie Slater. The cadence again between one quarterback and another.
False start, number 60, offense, first down.
Dennis Harrah, number 60, was the culprit. You know, Slater has been moved from right tackle to left tackle, and that's not an easy task to change your techniques from the right side to the left side. So this is a makeshift Ram offensive line going into the season. That was their strength, and right now they've been having some problems with it.
1st and 16. You're right. The offensive line play is a darn war on every snap. Here's the handoff to the man in motion, which is Preston Denard. Denard being chased by a lot of Lions and knocks over the guy holding the line marker. Ray Oldham in on that group first. Well, the old fella got knocked down. There he is holding the standard. He's only 26, but he aged quickly on that play.
Well, the play comes back. Gary Cobb does a good job stringing it out. He doesn't let him get outside, and right at that moment, number 23 comes up and does a good job, Ray Oldham. But Cobb kind of strung the play out, and there just wasn't any room back to that other side.
2nd down and 17. Pat Hayden replaced by Jeff Rutledge in the 2nd quarter. And Rutledge is just beginning to sort of find the controls, and then some nagging penalty seems to stop him. 2nd down and 16. Throw set, straight back. Keeps it back in for Lockie. He has a lot of time and throws behind the receiver. Waddy coming across the middle as number 35, Alvin Hall, broke it up. Flags are down around the pass pocket.
Well, Rutledge gets good protection right here. Dave Purifoy almost gets him right here. Watch his arm go stick in there, his left arm. But Rutledge really delivered this ball late. Waddy had it initially, and then he threw it a little bit behind, but late, and finally Alvin Hall got over to knock the ball down, but there's a penalty anyway.
Jerry Markbright is the official in charge.
Illegal use of the hands, number 56, offense, declined, 2nd down.
Doug Smith.
Doug Smith was the one blocking on Purifoy, and Purifoy came around the horn and got his left hand on Rutledge, but Smith was caught for holding.
Rams having that trouble on 3rd down conversions. Look at that over the last 2 games, 24%.
You just can't keep moving the football when you're bogging down on 3rd down.
Boy, and 3rd and 16 is a bunch. 10:03 left in the 3rd period. The Rams trail now by 6.
Here's that deep middle area. They like to go to those in routes about 18, 20 yards.
Blocking up front. Now he gets hit from behind by Curtis Green, and the ball bounces harmlessly away. Green's going to help the quarterback up. But the young man really put on a good pass rush.
He was going to Waddy all the way this time, number 80, and Alvin Hall was step for step, and in fact was into the inside. Here he goes to throw to Waddy, and of course the rush got him, but he would not have completed that pass. Alvin Hall was right with Waddy. In fact, he had a step in front of him. Green does a nice job, and Curtis Green, English, Gay, and Purifoy, boy, we've heard their names all day. They're doing an excellent job. And
Green's number 2 draft. He looks like he's going to be quite a player.
Mr. Sack Pack himself is on the bench with an injury.
Corral back to punt. Martin standing on the 10-yard line, just around the baseball infield sod that has been put in here at Anaheim. Here's the kick, going for it. Martin's going to let it go. Good position and dropped on the 1-yard line by Ivory Sully. He has done that a lot. A 42-yard punt, beautifully handled by the outside man, Ivory Sully. And the Lions have a long way to go and in dangerous territory. Detroit leads 13-7.
This roomy, inexpensive Subaru station wagon not only goes far on a gallon of gas, it also goes almost anywhere on a gallon of gas, thanks to front-wheel drive. But if you want more traction than our wagon with front-wheel drive, we suggest our wagon with on-demand 4-wheel drive. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Vitalis says it's true. A man has to keep himself under control.
4,000 feet, 3,000 feet, 2,000 feet.
But I'm under control. After you dry and style your hair, use the Vitalis pump for a terrific natural look you can keep under control just the way you want, all day long.
My horse in the 5th finished first in the 6th. But I'm under control.
Who says it's true? Vitalis says it's true. A man has to keep himself under control. I'm under control.
Sharpshooter Gordon Sweeney, our man on the truck down there, got that great shot of Sully's outstanding special teams play. Ball is on the 1-yard line. And a Hipple to Dexter Bussey, who just does get to the line of scrimmage. Jimmy Youngblood, number 53, cutting him down. And Andrews. Good place now for the Ram defense to put pressure on. I don't know if you can win a lot of football games with defense, but you can sure lose a lot if you don't have a good one. I know that.
This is where you have a guy like Sims hopefully can bust out and get him in a position where they're out of trouble. Here's New England, Oakland 17-13, but they need to get out of here. Trying to punt from this end zone, 13-7 football game. They can get turned around real fast.
The Rams are a physical bunch. It's 2nd down and 8. Give 2 yards to Bussey. Payne is in there now. Here's the inside handoff. Oh, out over the 7. The flags are falling in there. Bussey scrambles out, but a couple of flags were tossed in there.
I'm trying to get a reading on Sims, why he isn't in the football game. We don't know if he's hurt or not, but he's been in and out, and of course he has that toe problem. And of course the penalty here is indicated.
Decline it, right? Probably
against Detroit.
Would you decline it? You don't get but half the distance.
You get half the distance. You've got to decline it. It's going to still be 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8.
Got to call the Supreme Court to get a ruling on half of the stuff. Now you can see the jury is hanging. What's happening, by the way, in Philadelphia? What?
We haven't had any update in Philadelphia.
Ooh.
Well, just as I said that, you knew something, didn't you?
No, I didn't. No.
Holding number 65, offense, 2nd down.
Amos Fowler, the offensive center. That was an 86-yard touchdown pass to Harold Carmichael from Ron Jaworski. Cowboy secondary awfully young. Here it is, 2nd down and 9 on the 2. They took the penalty. An extra play out of the backfield. Payne gets out from the goal line to about the 4, fumbles the ball. And Fowler, number 65, the offensive center, came out with it and almost broke it. I don't know if he could have run the 90 yards, but he darn near opened it up.
Well, I'm a bit confused here. I don't know why they took that penalty. It's going to be a break for Detroit by taking that penalty. He gets hit, and of course Fowler just, that's good fortune right there for Detroit.
Youngblood put the hit on that caused the fumble. The Rams are knocking down there, and it's going to be 3rd and short.
Well, that's big right there. That fumble is really big.
3rd down and 2. This is one of those crucial 3rd down plays you talk about. The Rams have got to nail it if they're going to get the defense going right here. The toss. Back. Oh!
Reggie Doss.
Doss making a great play, getting penetration. I don't believe Bussey got anything. He may have lost a yard. What a play by Reggie Doss.
Here's the pitch out again to Bussey, number 24, and there's just nothing done right here. The block is missed on Doss by And inside, we're going to try to catch the guy that really misses the block right there.
Oh, this is football. That's a great defensive play here.
Yeah, Homer Elias had a little trouble trying to get the block, but Doss penetrated enough across that line of scrimmage where it was tough. He just made a good defensive play.
Skladany, the best kicker, punting to the best return man, perhaps in the history of this game. The young guy from Kansas, Leroy Irvin, waits at midfield.
He got to punt the ball to the right side of the field because for some reason Irvin is over here on the other side.
Skladany can airmail it. A little bit of a rush. This is a 4-5 hang time anyway. Back to 41. Leroy Irvin is cut down at the 45. Good coverage by Detroit. The Rams might have something going. A 49-yard punt, a 4-yard return.
Excellent job by Leonard Thompson that time, Tommy. He's got this speed. He got down there, got under the punt, and that's a big play for Detroit.
7:01 left in the third quarter, and there are the numbers.
Subaru owners have a lot in common besides all the different models they own, with front-wheel drive or on-demand four-wheel drive. They also share a habit of trading in one Subaru for another Subaru. No leading import is higher than Subaru in owner loyalty. People stick with a car they don't get stuck with. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
All you people in motion, here's a good notion.
The telephone credit card. The easy way to call.
Easier than carrying a whole lot of change. You get a monthly record of your calls.
Apply at your Bell Business office for your free card.
Mrs. Wilson. Hi, Mom. It's the newest Mrs. Wilson.
All over the land, call soon as you can.
You were down talking to the Duke of Del Rey, Klosterman, weren't you, down at the hallway at halftime?
Yeah, he was shaking his head in there. He thought the Rams were really fired up for this game. They're concerned about some injuries, but this is a fine Detroit football team.
Here we go, 1st and 10, the ball at the 46-yard line. Toss back to Wendell Tyler, a big hole, and Wendell rolls to the 45. The crowd beginning to move now, too. Ray Oldham making the tackle, a safety man. Wendell over 100 yards now.
Good blocking to the left side this time. It's an I formation. Cullen Bryant's the lead blocker. He does a good job right there on Stan White, number 52, and Tyler cuts back inside. 8 to 10 yards, and he's well over 100.
The big run, 69, but now Wendell Tyler's got the engine working, and Rutledge is the quarterback. 6:29 in the third. 2nd down and 1. Good play to do anything. Inside drive handoff, Cullen Bryant for the 1st down, and a lot of contact there. Oldham again making the tackle. Told by Mike Burke, our producer, that that's the first time that anybody's rushed for 100 yards against Detroit this year. Of course, they're the #1 team defense in the rush. Mike Fanning, #1 draft out of Notre Dame a few years ago, that has really played sensational, good, solid football at the same time. 1st and 10. I formation. Handoff. Tyler slips to the 40. Fantetti making the tackle. Now the rhythm seems to be with the Rams a little bit. It's like, okay, we get a good 1st down play. We pick up a 1st down.
Well, psychologically, Washington's really putting on St. Louis, but psychologically, when you stay within 1 touchdown of a team, even though Detroit's outplayed Los Angeles 13 to 7, you always have that hope, and you give a team an opportunity, and they can get things turned around very quickly when you're within a touchdown of doing it.
You gotta have hope. 2nd down and 8 on the 40. Close set, straight back. And a big rush by Detroit. Thrown off balance, but caught. Preston Denard made some kind of a catch, and the ball was end over end. Oldham again making the stop from the secondary.
Earlier in the game, this pressure really made a difference and got to the Ram quarterbacks who threw the ball poorly. This time, though, it's going in the Rams' favor. Rutledge does a good job just staying, moving that feet in that pocket, even though he had pressure on him. Got the ball to Denard, and of course Denard had great concentration as he caught the football. He was hit by Oldham.
You're right, he moved to the left in that pocket. 2 linebackers came, and the Rams picked it up. 3rd down and 2 on the 34. 3rd and 2. A delay handoff to Cullen Bryant. He's awfully close. Good tackles put on the 235-pounder, Fantetti, the first one there. Monty beginning to show a little concern.
Fantetti's, based on what we've seen, has had a fine game.
You go for it here, though, don't you? You're trailing 13-7. If you didn't make it, you got inches to go. You got to wind it up and squeeze off the round, don't you?
It's fourth and inches. I'd go for it. I think that's the smart move. And looks like Malavasi is going to go for it.
I think it'll be a popular decision, particularly if they make the first down. When you don't make some of those first downs, those gambles, but this is in the third quarter. It's not the first period. You've got to keep it going. Double tight end wingbacks. High formation. Oh, Wendell Tyler breaks it, almost breaks the play. Gets to the 26-yard line. Jimmy Allen strings it up with Wayne Smith helping. Wendell almost broke that.
Well, that's just a basic zone blocking all the way, and Tyler's leading, going off the block of Helen Bryant. He breaks back all the way to the other side, doesn't even follow Bryant. He's just going for the open area, the seam, to get that first down. He almost busted.
And Jackie Slater really took the defensive end inside. Of course, they're probably pinching off, trying to stop the inside run, huh?
Also, Gooman, as you saw, had a nice turnout block on the other side.
Good gamble by Coach Ray Malavasi. First and 10 on the 26. Play action pass by Rutledge. He's got time to throw it back across the field to Arnold, who makes a good catch. The tight end makes a catch on Ray Oldham at the 11-yard line. Boy, that was a good play.
Arnold came in this game with 5 catches. Of course, Childs has been hurt. Arnold's played the last few weeks, and he really delivers right here. Ray Oldham was in fairly good position. Rutledge puts the ball right out in front, and he made a catch similar to Dave Hill's catch early. He just hung on to the ball. He stretched out all the way, and of course, Rutledge is going to the tight end across the field, man-to-man on Oldham, and brings that ball in. Good concentration on Arnold, and a very key reception for the Rams.
And the blocking up front, they seem to have solved the big pass rush. They had 4 sacks in that first half. Toss to the eye, back to Tyler. Cuts back inside the 540, down close to the goal line. Fumbles the ball. Fantetti, or I think Stan White may have come up with it. Let's see if they call it a fumble. They do. Tyler's second fumble. Stan White, the old veteran linebacker, comes out with it.
Well, Stan's a coach in that field. They got him from Baltimore. He's done a good job. He's around the ball. He's got a lot of turnovers, and here we see it right there. Of course, he did fumble. That ball was pulled out before he hit the ground, and White was there to make a big fumble recovery.
Subaru owners have a lot in common besides all the different models they own, with front-wheel drive or on-demand four-wheel drive. They also share a habit of trading in one Subaru for another Subaru. No leading import is higher than Subaru in owner loyalty. People stick with a car they don't get stuck with. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
New Backwoods Smokes just hit town. Looking wild, but tasting mild.
New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild? New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
New Backwoods Smokes. All natural tobacco, hand-rolled look in a keep 'em fresh pocket pouch.
How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
Number 12, you have it.
Well, number 52 is the one that has it here. He comes all the way across the field and just strips Tyler right there. There was a little confusion when that fumble took place, but White had it all the way. A great play by Stan White.
High formation. The Rams defense now has got to assert itself. Rick Kane gets out over the 6 to about the 7. Ekron making the tackle. 14-3, no change in Philadelphia. That heated engagement, the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Well, Tom and I are trying to get some information on Billy Sims. Probably stubbed his toe somewhere. We're trying to find it for you, especially Detroit fans up there in the Motor City, wondering where Billy is. But we'll have some information here for you quickly.
5-yard pickup by Kane. It's 2nd down and 5. Remember, this is the #1 rushing team in football. And they toss back to Kane again. Kane inside, breaks out in the open. Kane to the 24-yard line. Nolan Cromwell hanging on for dear life.
It's nice to have a guy like that sitting around. I tell you, Rick Kane is is a needed commodity on any football team. He's a heck of a football player. He's got a 4.2-yard rushing average this year. He's got 12 receptions. Did an excellent job the last 2 weeks filling in for Sims, and here he is.
You know the way to San Jose, huh?
That's a big, big first down, getting them out of trouble. Before they were stopped down there. This time they're going to be in good field position to start using something more on their offense other than the run.
You're right, Roger. The Rams have trouble against that eye, don't they? First and 10 out of the 24. Inside handoff to Kane. Gets away from one tackler. Now he's cut back by Youngblood and dropped for a loss. Redskins with Theismann apparently controlling the situation 28-0. Well, it's hard to shut out St. Louis.
St. Louis knocked off Minnesota last week.
Teams have the injuries right now, and you have to realize if you're deep enough with only 45 men to take care of them. And up front, both sides, the Rams have lost some people. Detroit's had their share. Of course, they lost Sims for 2 games and Danielson for most of the first part of this season. What do you have, a dislocated wrist, Gary Danielson?
He does. It'll be out another 2 or 3 weeks.
Here's Hippel doing a job screening out to Kane in the flat. Kane's got blockers still on his feet. Downfield, the safety men in the flankers are at about the 34 or 5-yard line, make it. Rod Perry finally forces Rick Kane out.
Well, on 2nd and 12, normally you wouldn't catch a team like Los Angeles giving up a screen right here, especially those defensive linemen who are experienced. When they're let in that easy, normally they get out. There's just no one out there. Good play. He's led all the way down the sidelines by Elias, but there really isn't a Ram near him for the first 25, 30 yards. Well-designed play.
Where did Andrews go?
Perfect timing. Good
Where'd
call.
the right linebacker go? Did he get caught inside?
Well, he probably was in a man-to-man situation and was going to the other side of the field, or he just got blocked. We lost him somewhere, but he was the man that had to stop that screen.
He better check his keys. 1st and 10 on the 37. Straight ahead, no yardage. That's Dexter Bussey. The Rams with a golden opportunity. Held on defense. Took the ball down deep inside about the 1-yard line. Wendell Tyler coughed it up. San Diego 19-14. Over Kansas City. Malavasi must wonder, what hath God wrought? We moved the ball all over the lot in San Francisco and lose when the field goals disappeared. It's hot. That's the end of the 3rd period.
We've seen 2 big screen passes that have really benefited Detroit. The first one led to a touchdown. Of course, this one puts them in good shape going into the 4th quarter.
At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is 13-7, Detroit.
Rainmaker to ground. Okay, Rainmaker. One more, how to do it? Raj picking us up a radio. Tell that fire not to go anywhere. Bullseye, you got it. Does that mean it's Miller time? Roger.
Miller time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
Beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you got the time, Miller's got the beer.
At Transamerica, we've provided affordable life insurance for 4 generations with Transamerica Occidental Life. We give you great travel values with Transamerica Airlines and budget rent-a-car. We even make sure life's little surprises won't put a hole in your budget.
Arnie, my favorite Transamerica insurance agent.
First-rate service at a fair price. Transamerica.
Don Klosterman, the general manager, and Jack Faulkner just sent us a note that there's nothing wrong with Billy Sims. Detroit's just resting him. Something you can put in a Rick Kane and still keep it going. In fact, get out of that big shadow down there. Monty Clark's done a heck of a job. This is a solid ball club. First down for Hippel. They've got a 2nd down and 10 for Hippel on the 37. First play of the 4th quarter. Going to the outside. Wide open receiver is Billy Sims. And he's rested all right inside the 20. And Joe Harris was in his wake by 3 or 4 yards, a 20-yarder.
It's going to be a good one up there. We got a good one here. We got a difference of 6 points here. LA is really talking to themselves. They had a chance to go ahead, and Tyler fumbled, but that would have been a touchdown right there if Billy Sims doesn't trip also.
A good pass receiver. He's got excellent hands. And, of course, he's got the great wheels. First and 10, a big reception, a 20-yarder. Falls on the 18 at the I formation. Hipple gives to Billy Sims, getting right, gets a good block from Bussey, spins to the 12-yard line. Eckerd making the tackle, and Nolan Cromwell, as Murray warms up. Troy just took all the zip out of the Rams, but took that fumble and drove it right out.
And Kane made the big run, then the screen pass, and they're knocking on the door. They're trying to get out of that 6-point deficit range. They don't want a mistake down here. They're in at least a field goal to put them 9 up. And, of course, they'd like to score. But they don't want to make a mistake and lose anything. And especially that field goal, which they lost earlier in the game.
Second down 4, misdirection, inside handoff. And Mike Fanning stops Dexter Bussey in his tracks.
This is where you start talking to yourself on the sidelines, saying, hey, should I be conservative, make sure for the field goal, or try to throw the ball in the end zone and get the score? What would you do, Coach?
Well, I don't think I'd be a very good coach. I actually don't have the intestinal fortitude. There's Dante Pastorini waiting to get a chance to play, the man with a great live arm. Houston and Oakland, and now in a Los Angeles uniform. Dave Hill, the big tight end, is to the left side. You see that third down conversion ratio. It's 3rd and 5 for Detroit. Hipple back, good pass rush. The blitz is on, but it's picked up. Going deep and overthrows Dave Hill in the end zone. Cromwell was there, along with Leroy Irvin. New England on top of Oakland, 17-13. The Twos have a little trouble playing against New England. They're beginning to turn it around. I was a rookie with Ray Malavasi when he played with the Eagles. He was a very hard-nosed player.
1948, 49?
No, it wasn't that far back, but he was a very hard-nosed defensive lineman, but he's a much better coach.
I noticed that championship ring you have, the 60 Eagles won it all.
Expensive ring, about $235. Here's Eddie Murray from the 20. That's Hipple holding. That's a knuckleball that no good. Quail high, and it was missed. The hole looked good. No rush, and no field goal. And the Rams breathe a little bit. We'll be back with more of the Rams against Detroit after this word from your local station.
That's going.
Next weekend, the champion Michael Spinks is undefeated. He faces a challenge of Bonzel Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship next weekend on CBS Sports Saturday. This is CBS.
Datsun's got a diesel.
Datsun's got a diesel.
Datsun's got a diesel.
Presenting the new Datsun Diesel, a tough half-ton with the kind of durability and mileage you expect from a diesel, and more range than any Datsun ever.
I'm going to run out of road before this Datsun runs out of fuel.
See the Datsun Long Bed, exclusive King Cab, and the affordable Little Hustler.
Datsun, we are driven.
Bank of America introduces the little bank that stays open even when the big bank is closed. Our new Versateller automated tellers let you make a deposit.
Easy.
Get cash.
Easy.
Check your account balance.
Easy.
And more from 6 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week with push-button ease. We have a lot of big banks in the Los Angeles area. Soon, we'll have a lot of little banks, too. Versateller automated tellers. More money convenience coming soon from Bank of America.
Catch Pro Football Wrap tonight at 6.
Murray mishit the field goal attempt, and the Rams have the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 20. I formation. Rutledge is the quarterback, has been since the second period. Wendell Tyler, crossback, breaks out to the 30-yard line. The crowd coming and sensing something's happening. Fantetti making the tackle. Don't forget the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship fight next Saturday from Atlantic City. Michael Spinks, who can knock you dead with that right hand, against Bonzel Johnson, a tall contender that's fought a lot of the best people. Spinks, of course, the former Olympic gold medalist, and I believe he was a welterweight when he won at Montreal. after that field goal, this is what happened. They got short yardage going on in the stands.
Someone wanted that ball.
Back to the live action.
Well, Detroit's been playing with fire, Tom. They just they had 2 opportunities inside that 15-yard line. They missed the field goal there. They had the interception early. So we're still into that 13-7, that touchdown difference. And when you play with fire, it seems like it catches up with you later on.
You mean that 1 point's going to be right there at the very end, probably?
Could be. Could be.
Gooman just carried on that. Mike Gooman, number 44. Billy Waddy coming out. Thomas is in the number 33, a big running back. Here's the fake pass. Rutledge is back. He's got time to throw it, and wide open is Bernard at the 40. Preston Bernard at the 20. Bernard's going to get close. He's finally hit on the 5-yard line by Jimmy Allen. Bernard coming across the middle, and he is fearless. He'll make that catch.
Well, that's the Rams' favorite pattern, those deep in routes, 18 to 20-yard area. But they have the back short. They have the tight end. And the linebackers are not really getting back very deep. And Rutledge just drills it right over the linebackers and into that open seam, and Bernard runs the ball for 64 yards down that sideline. Big play for the Rams.
And a great blocking job up front. As we said earlier, the Detroit linemen are standing straight up, and the Ram offensive linemen are taking them on.
Here's the shifting in the line there, but this time the Rams pick everybody up, and Rutledge has enough time to put it over the middle, and of course Bernard makes the play, and Hector Gray, number 26, was in a zone, and the safeties were not near the play, so someone was either in the wrong position or Bernard just made a good play.
1st and 3, 1st and goal on the 3-yard line. Saul's the center. Here's the snap. Tyler getting close to that goal line again, holding on to the ball, and he's gang tackled. Running that left side. There's that defense. Remember, they are number 1 against the rush in the whole league. In what we would call our civilized world. There's the coach of the Rams, Ray Malavasi. And Maxie Bond standing next to Monty Clark. Maxie's in charge of the defense for the Lions, and they're pressed. Tyler, 135 yards on 14 carries and 2 fumbles. Ball's on the 1. Cullen Bryant. Tyler gets a handoff. Watch the hands.
Those Lions are really penetrating. When you're down that close, you just got to get low and let the linebackers come over the top. And this time, Tyler inches his way, but it's just still not good enough.
Going to unstack. That's going to be pretty close to the line. Watch them unstack on this one.
Good goal line defense. There's Fantetti's in there. You got a whole pile of them in there.
Los Angeles taking the timeout, Roger. Wendell Tyler has really been working. The ball is inside of a yard away. That could put the Rams in front.
Toyota has to compare their 82 four-wheel drive truck to our dirt bike. We're both tough going up mountain roads. Toyota should be. It's got one of the biggest engines in its class.
And he looks pretty comfortable in there, too.
Oh, come on, Toyota. The last part of the test where you carry us, then we carry you. Give me a break. Oh, what a feeling. The 4x4. It'll get you to the top. Comfortably.
Toyota.
Holiday Inn.
Welcome to our people-pleasing place.
Is that the Holiday Inn East, the Holiday Inn West, the Midtown?
The one by United Industries.
The one by the headquarters or the plant?
The headquarters.
We offer you a choice of the most popular locations.
You need 3 hands.
You're right.
People-pleasing locations.
The airport? The one by Holiday Inn North or Holiday Inn South?
Is number 1 in people-pleasing.
That much. It is a game of certainly inches, right? About 6 inches. Thomas is in, the 235-pound running back. Now he's coming out. Thomas, number 33, is out. Cullen Bryant is in. Wendell Tyler is in. Bryant the blocker, but he never fumbles. it to 32, and he let him block.
Tyler's going to dive over the tackle.
Goes to Wendell Tyler. He holds on to the ball, breaks into the end zone, and the arms go up, and no flags do. A running spike by Wendell Tyler. I think he might have hurt himself spiking the ball in the end zone. There's a lion on the field. Somebody's hurt.
It's the I formation. You got Kent Hill coming out. Good block on Oldham. Good lead block by Bryant.
Stan White's the injured player. Now, there he is right there.
Excellent block right there by Cullen Bryant. Watch Cullen Bryant just pop Stan White right there. That's where Stan got hurt.
Stan still got in on the tackle. Yeah. Well, that was some meeting.
You got two pretty tough competitors right here. Bryant's a big fullback, and here's White, busts through the gap right there, and Bryant is a lead blocker and just pops him, and Stan White is getting off the field slowly right now.
Hello there. He is walking off and still got in on the tackle. Played with Baltimore so many years and has really sort of brought a stabilizing influence to Maxie Bond's defense in Detroit.
Stan's one of those big play linebackers. In 75, he had 8 interceptions, and in 77, he had 7. And of course, today he had a big fumble recovery. He's a leader on their defense and calls the defensive signals.
Injured on the sidelines like this. Doug Pratt, boy, when you're injured and you're not part of the team, it's about the most frustration. A big extra point attempt. Corral is perfect on the extra point so far this year. It's down, it's held. Dead solid, perfect. The Rams take the lead, and as Roger Staubach said, that 6-point margin just took off. It's 14-13, 9:59 left in quarter number 4.
Canon proudly presents the new AE1 program. For the pro photographer,
it's even more advanced.
And for pro quarterback Joe Theismann,
it's even simpler to use.
Hey, Dad!
No matter how tough the shot, the new program mode automatically sets the camera for the best possible photo.
This new Canon is super.
The new AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple, and more of both. Canon, the photographic consultant to the National Football League.
Look out, world.
Of all the great ways to arrive.
Here comes Ford.
New Granada VIP. Bi-power steering and the luxury of a split bench seat, electric lock, and tilt wheel are yours at a savings of more than $350.
Here's something more than ordinary driving. Something to arrive in.
Granada VIP. A whole new way to really arrive.
Here comes new. Here comes now. Here comes Ford.
The Polish crisis, the people coping with food and fuel shortages. How fierce is their conviction and their pride? Walter Cronkite in Poland for the CBS Evening News Monday.
And the El Grande play was the big pass to Denard. The last carry by Wendell Tyler, but Corral is kicking off and the Rams lead it. The first time since that first touchdown bowl. This is Martin with the run back out over the 20. It gets to the 29-yard line. Lions have a lot of time and a great field goal kicker. Don't forget it. Leroy Irvin made that tackle. Tonight on CBS, everybody's favorite show, 60 Minutes, Every Which Way But Loose with Clint Eastwood and that great chimpanzee. And, of course, the Jeffersons. The special, though, Every Which Way But Loose, tonight on CBS. Eastwood's a big football fan. He used to be in a lot of dressing rooms around there.
He came in our locker room a couple times. Everybody enjoyed meeting him. Should be a great movie.
We used to have a couple of chimpanzees come in our dressing rooms. Heppel back to throw on 1st and 10. He's going deep.
He's got him open.
Leonard Thompson can't hang on.
He had him. That was a great throw by Heppel, and Leonard Thompson let the ball go through his hands. It was one of those catches you're looking up over your shoulder, but the ball was there.
And did the ball begin to waver a little bit? Did it look like the ball was stalling a little bit on it?
It was up high. He threw that extremely high, which is good. It gave him a chance to run under it, and Thompson's got that sprinter speed, and right there he had the football, and Cromwell got over late, and he should have had that.
Heppel threw that one 55 yards in the air, Bill Friel just told me.
Well, he let it go, and he threw a lot of height on it. He gave a sprinter like Thompson the ability to run under the football, and here's Irvin. He beat Irvin, and Cromwell got over there late. He just dropped it.
Dallas on top of Philadelphia now, 17-14. What happens? Hipple back to throw. Picked off by Leroy Irvin, number 47. Leroy brings it back to the 35. No chance to get the ball to Dave Hill. It was far underthrown. Elias made the tackle after the interception. A big defensive play by the Rams.
Well, that was a big defensive play. That ball was thrown in the middle. There really wasn't a receiver around. I guess it was Thompson that slipped. Hipple waits, and he really was hesitant. When you see a guy jumping around like that, see someone, your quarterback jumping around, you're not sure of yourself, and of course he threw that, and Irvin was watching him all the way.
There was a flag thrown down there, and the official now is trying to get it back in his pocket because it looked like somebody really hit the quarterback. But the Rams offense is on the field, so whatever it was taken care of. Markbright is handling the situation. The Rams have the ball and the lead by 1 point. 9:31 left, a lot of time here at Anaheim.
Believe it or not, if 9 out of 10 of these homes burn down, there's no guarantee they'll be totally rebuilt. Because rebuilding costs are rising so fast, even inflation protection may not cover a home fully. But now, Allstate's got the brand new home replacement guarantee. Get it and get your home built back just like it was, even if rebuilding costs more than you're covered for. Ask your Allstate agent about the new home replacement guarantee. For ideas that make good sense today, you're in good hands with Allstate.
There's a company in Toledo, Ohio, who makes an amazing product for your car's engine. It can help improve your car's mileage, give you surer starts, even help your car run better. And the cost of a set is about the same as the price of an oil change. A revolutionary new device? No, it's a fresh Champion spark plug. There is probably nothing that can do so much for your car's engine for so little. Champion, the world's #1 seller.
That's quality. That's Billy Sims. The Lions still have 9:31, but the Rams have the football. A big interception. A ball that was thrown when the quarterback Hipple was being roughed up. He ran into his own man. Here's the inside handoff. That's Thomas, number 33, and he's alone. Stan White, back in the game, made the tackle. Offensive line has worked very hard for the Rams. And early, they were sort of blitzed. 4 sacks in the first half.
The Rams have really picked it up the second half. They've pretty much been in control most of the time, other than the one drive that Detroit had. The Rams fumbled on the 1-yard line, but they've had pretty well control of the football game in the second half.
Weak side pitch. Back to Thomas. Didn't get much.
Stop that line.
Don't forget, Washington 35-14 now over St. Louis in the fourth quarter. And next week, Detroit goes to Washington, the nation's capital, and New Orleans comes into Anaheim. Of course, we all remember that big upset, big second week of the season when the New Orleans Saints upset Los Angeles. Arnold, number 84, the big tight end from New Mexico, is down on all fours.
They can't afford to lose him. They've been really lean at tight end with Childs getting hurt. They've got Phil Dubois they just picked up, but they need Arnold in there.
14-13, 8:34.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Alex, I'm just coming out to look for you, Greenhorn.
We took a little detour.
Little detour? Little detour for what?
Well, we want to say thank you for putting up with us these last couple of weeks.
So we stopped at the store and picked up some Lone Brown.
By golly, you city folks are all right.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brown.
We had such a good time. We're coming back next year.
Okay, but don't tell my horses that.
All across the country, you'll see signs announcing the best gas mileage car in America. The Honda Civic 1300 FE with an estimated EPA 41 miles per gallon and a remarkable 55 estimated highway miles per gallon. Use 41 for comparison. Your mileage may vary. So every time you see this sign, think of this car, the new fuel-efficient Honda Civic.
Honda, we make it simple.
Next weekend, the champion Michael Spinks is undefeated. He faces a challenge of Bonzel Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship next weekend on CBS Sports Saturday.
Laughing and scratching now. The Rams fans and their cheerleaders, as Roger calls them, are going crazy. A 14-13 lead in the ball. It's 3rd down and 8. Rutledge the quarterback. Taking the blitz. Detroit pulls it off, and they've got it blocked. He's got a lot of time. Now he's got the big rush. Gets the ball completed to Preston Denard down the middle. Denard is smothered on about the 14, it would make 16-yard line. Rutledge really got dumped.
Well, Denard kind of turned inside, and then he broke outside to the open area, and Rutledge just hung in there tough. He had some pressure late, but he just hung in there and got a little bit of a wobbler off, but it was a good throw with a lot of pressure, and Denard turned out. He had turned in on number 44 that time, Wayne Smith. Wayne hit him covered to the inside, and he turned out late, and Rutledge got the ball to him.
Big Bad Bill, William Gay is the man that made the big rush on him from that side, and Pastorini comes in. Rutledge might be really staggering just a little bit. He was really hit a shot.
He got his thumb on a helmet. Boy, I tell you, that is his thumb. He hit that helmet with his thumb. Boy, it's sore. See him pull away from that?
Pastorini, who has not thrown a football for the Rams, and that's the thumb. You've got a few fingers that go different directions.
Every which way but loose.
No, that's the promo for tonight's special
fingers
feature.
are going a bunch of different ways. Here he hits it on the helmet. He really fortunate to get this ball off. Denard does a good job of breaking back to the outside, and right there is where he got it, on that helmet, and that's one of the prices you pay as a quarterback.
A 1st and 10, though, on the 16. Preston Denard, Mr. Pressure receiver. Here's the fake. Pastorini being chased and dropped by Purifoy. What a move the defensive end made. Dave Purifoy.
Well, this is a play-action fake right here, and just I don't know who's supposed to block Purifoy. Like Doug Smith, really, he just gets beat to the inside, and Purifoy does an excellent job escaping to the inside and gets the trap on Pastorini.
Tied Pastorini's shoestrings together.
Kind of surprised they'd let Pastorini throw that first time he's in there. Let him get his feet under him. He hasn't played in a long time, but they were going for the big one, and it backfired on him.
2nd down now, 19. Rutledge on the sidelines. Pastorini in the game. He is brilliant, and he can get hot. Back in the pocket, good blocking. Missed. Down at the 5-yard line. Drew Hill. 20-17, Oakland over New England. Rutledge going in, I think, to the dressing room.
Might have really hurt that thumb.
What about Pastorini? Give me your great view of his arm and the velocity, style.
Well, I haven't seen him for a while. Tommy's noted for having a very strong arm, and we were talking to Jack Faulkner earlier, and he said that he's been throwing extremely well in practice. He seems to have the arm of old. So if it's the arm of old, Pastorini has been noted for having a strong arm. And he had some big games with Houston, and this last year he was hurt, and now he's in LA.
Looks like he's checking off. Inside handoff. Thomas bowled over there by number 71. That's Steve Furness, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. Pastorini gets trapped.
Trying to get a little bit closer. Excuse me, for the field goal is what happened on the trap right there. They're trying to bust it for 8 or 9 yards to get in a little closer range for Corral. But the
Rank is 3 for 5 between the 40 and the 49. This will be held at the 31, so it'll be 41. He is 3 for 5, and as we all know, he missed 4. I had 1 block, missed 3 last week. Here it is. The hold by Cromwell. The windage is right, and the crowd loves it. And Corral begins to breathe and enjoy the hometown crowd.
That's a big kick for Corral. He really had a off week last week. He went into the game with 10 out of 12 field goal attempts. 12 attempts, 10 made, and he missed 4 last week, so he needed that one.
There he is. Well, you know, the great thing about having a two-way kicker, you get an extra place on your roster for a linebacker or something, you know. You don't have just a punter or a field goal kicker. And Frank, except for that awful day, that dismal day up at Candlestick Park, has been a pretty steady kicker. Now, There's Malavasi, looks composed. And again, that 4-point spread makes Murray's field goal attempt on a drive not too spectacular now.
All my mother's out in the world. How you doing?
Well, the Lions were in this position last week, and they had a great drive against Green Bay, and that's what they need right now.
Big kick by Corral. Martin will be back for the kickoff with Alvin Hall. Corral now is doing his exercises. Born in Chihuahua, Mexico. UCLA, a third-round draft choice. And a strong guy. He's no Danny Lump. He's a 210-pounder. He's a strong physical football player. There's Martin at the 5. Being chased. A tackle from behind. Number 58 comes up with it. It's Mel Owens. Rams, New Orleans at home, Cincinnati away, and you never know about the Bengals. San Francisco at home, and you know about the 49ers. Pittsburgh, the Giants, Atlanta, and Washington. So far, the Rams have played 4 people in their first 8 games that were in the playoffs a year ago. The second half, though, of the season is really the important part, isn't it? Here's what the Lions have.
It is, and this game is really a key game for Lions also because their last 2 games are at home against contenders, so they need a victory on the road.
Handoff out to the 15. Rams gang tackling now. Billy Sims with the carry, and not much. Youngblood, the first one to make contact.
These Rams are fired up.
That looks like our waiter from the restaurant last night. The Road Runner.
Saw some outfits last night.
Scared me when that one person came up and said she was the devil. Had the pitchfork and all. Scary night, but a great day for football, and certainly the Rams, while not the nail in any kind of a game, they lead it by 4 with 5:09 left. Hipple now on 2nd down and 9. Straight back to throw. Now he's going to run out. He's a good runner. Now he stops. He's going to get hit. Throws it across field. Wide open. And drop.
What a play by Hipple that time. Boy, I tell you, that was a great play by Hipple.
Freddie Scott dropped it.
He really kept his poise under control, and he hit Freddie Scott all the way across the field. If he would have got a little bit more on it, Scott would have ran for it and would have scored. He was that wide open. He threw the ball a little bit low, but Scott still should have caught the football.
I mean, wide open.
See, Cromwell right here sees Hipple in trouble, and he just didn't get back there deep on Scott and let him get behind him. It was a mistake on Cromwell's part, and, of course, Scott just dropped the football.
Boy, that ball can weigh 100 pounds sometimes. A big play, and you're right. The quarterback danced and pranced and threw a pretty good-looking strike. 3rd down and 9 on the 16. 4:54 left in the football game. The rush is on, the blitz. Harris is in there. Hipple is being tackled and sacked by Joe Harris, number 51. Big pressure, and the Rams do come with a lot of people when they get you in trouble.
Here they come. It's a blitz all the way. Ivory Sully, number 51, Harris, and of course they try to pick up the blitzers, and everybody else is chasing Hipple around.
Skladany will have to punt from the end zone now. He's checking to see if he's standing on the white outside or if he's still on the playing field. Leroy Irvin waits at the 45. The duel. The best punt returner in the National Football League is going to take it at the 44 on the dead run. Gets to about the 32-yard line and steps out. 37-yard punt and a 12-yard return. There's Rutledge with a dislocated thumb. They will probably x-ray to make sure. Pat Hayden watching. Pastorini is the quarterback. Kansas City 20-19 over San Diego. The Chiefs 6-2 at halfway and staying hot. High formation behind Dante Pastorini. Drive, Thomas.
When that guy burst on the scene, here's the bench here, the defense talking about what they might have to do. we'll get back in the football game here. LA would like to run the clock down, and of course they'd like to score. The field goal would still put Detroit within a touchdown of winning the football game. You know, Thomas scored he had over 100 yards rushing against Dallas last year. The first game he's in. The next week he has over 100 against Atlanta. So you got he and Bryant in that backfield. You got 2 trucks in there.
Pastorini, the Ferrari, is trying to run it. This is his first action as a Ram. Toss back to Thomas. Thomas can't find anywhere to go, but still lugs it over the 25-yard line. And Teddy, the middle linebacker, and Curtis Green making the tackle. 3:05 and counting. The Rams didn't seem to be in it, but as Roger Staubach said, with that 6-point deficit, they were never out of it. Washington 35-14 in the fourth quarter. Pastorini coming to confer. He's always been very pleasant and outspoken. Has a little trouble with sports writers.
Yes, he has. He's had his moments at Houston. A couple big playoff games. Another game against New England, he had the rib problems. He came in, had a sensational day against Miami, and he went to Oakland last year in that trade for Stabler, and of course was hurt. And everybody knows the Plunkett story after that.
Billy Sims.
I think Pastorini's got some football left in him, though, Tom. A lot of it.
It's a breezy, beautiful afternoon. Look at this. Dallas 17-14 in the fourth period. 2 minutes left in the football game. The Cowboys have gone into the snake pit, Met Stadium, and have played the Eagles better than even. Jaworski is out of the Dallas game with bruised ribs, we're informed, and Joe Pisarcik, the backup quarterback, is trying to get the Eagles into overtime. 3rd down and 4 on the 25. He's checking off. Detroit checked off. Thomas gets the carry. He's got the first down and rolls inside the 20. And Hara, the big guard, made the motion. It's the first. There's Herky. What a load he is. There's a #1 draft. Would you like to have those kind of linemen when you're in the huddle and look at those guys there?
That's a #1 draft the same year they got France also. So that's quite a tandem that LA got, and good size. They've had trouble.
Did you used to take the offensive lineman to dinner and do all that stuff?
I did do that. I really did. You're as good as they are.
A lot of T-bones. Straight ahead, Thomas getting some action. Good tackle put on him there by Stan White. It's a good thing. 17-13, Rams over Detroit, getting near the 2-minute warning. 5:10, 2:25. Express. Detroit calls the timeout. Second down and 7. A burn timeout for Detroit. A game back of Minnesota. Tampa Bay won today 20-10. St. Louis coming from probably too far back, but it's 35-21.
It's been an unusual day for Detroit. They really have at times dominated this football game, and at other times, of course, they've let it slip away, and right now it's slipping away.
The inexperience, though, of Eric Hipple a couple of times on the interception and all, it's to be expected, but we have to comment on it, don't you think?
Yeah, he's not had the kind of day that is needed to win a football game against the Rams. They're an excellent team when they get that nickel defense in there, and you really have to know what you're doing. You have to go to the right receivers, and of course Hipple at times has hit some key plays, but more often than not he's been off the mark. And of course that last series, though, it was Freddie Scott dropping a big pass. So it's been a combination of things for Detroit. They've sputtered on offense at times, and it's cost them.
Inside, Gooman stacked up short of that 15-yard line. Roger Young Hipple is 6 of 20 for 167 yards, touchdown pass, and 2 interceptions. 2-minute warning, 17-13. Pastorini's got the lead in the ball.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1978, John Madden's Raiders trail the Chargers by 6 with time for only one more play. Ken Stabler drops back. He's blitzed from the right. In what has become known as the Holy Roller, he fumbles the ball forward. It is miraculously bobbled and bounced into the end zone, where Dave Casper falls on it for a touchdown. The Raiders win 21-20 on the game's final play.
Alcoa can't wait.
Since time began, nature has demonstrated the wisdom of recycling. In rain that falls to the earth, travels to the sea, and rises to the clouds again. Now, man must learn to recycle too. At Alcoa, we've already started by initiating programs that are saving billions of aluminum cans every year. Raw materials and energy too. Recycling, we're simply doing what nature has always done.
We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
I think this picture tells it all. In fact, I refuse to comment. Colorado River Rat. That tells it all, too. Monty Clark.
There's still a little sun on one part of the one side of the stadium.
It's a 17-13 lead, 1:58 on the clock. Rams with a chance to nail it shut. Bernard's in motion. Pastorini tossing back. Inside one, almost fumbled by Thomas. Like he dribbled it a couple of times and put it away. This is where Gene Mock's baseball team, the Angels, play. Buddy, he and Drysdale are over in the desert. Probably played 36 holes this morning. They're watching the Rams.
Well, the Rams have turned it around the second half. Even after that Tyler fumble, they've hung in there and they've got the lead. They still need to get at least another first down to put this game away. Detroit's going to use their timeouts to help prevent that situation. So there's still a hope, even though it's slim for Detroit.
Ram didn't look very happy on the sidelines. You know, I'm into animal husbandry, and the Ram had absolutely no expression at all. Detroit's last timeout was burned. Corral now will perhaps try the kick from around the 20-yard line, a 30-yard field goal. You'd go ahead and try the field goal. You wouldn't worry about it being blocked. I think run down the field or anything.
If it comes down to that fourth down situation, they're going to have to try the field goal to put them out of a field goal range as far as the tie is concerned.
Don't forget, following the football game, 60 Minutes and all the subsequent programming will be seen in its entirety immediately following the football game, except on the West Coast, where the programming will run at their naturally scheduled times.
I was looking at the scoreboard and I saw third down, so it is fourth down and he kicks it.
It's not blocked and it is good. A 20-13 margin. Corral kicking 2 big field goals late here. We saw him in practice yesterday, and he was worried about the windage and got his confidence up. And Cromwell stayed out late in practice and must have held 100 kicks for Corral to kick and get that feeling again, the rhythm. Boy, Monty Clark's got to be really disappointed. Looked like he had a chance to sort of blow the game open. Never quite got it done.
Well, so he still has a chance. There's a minute and 49 to go, and it's a long way from being over. A touchdown would put him ahead, or a touchdown would tie the football game.
I wonder what kind of mathematics they taught you at Annapolis. Yeah. Scared me there for a minute.
Touchdown would tie it to go into overtime, so they're still in the football game.
Wendell Tyler, a bolt of lightning in that first quarter, the 69-yard touchdown. And then Big Frank sort of took over.
I honestly did lose a point somewhere. I was.
You're still worried about Dallas, Philadelphia, for God's sakes. There's Pastorini. He's gotten his first fire, first play, first drop back, and he was sacked. Alvin Hall back. And Robbie Martin from the 35. Pretty good hang time kick to the 3. That's Alvin Hall. Alvin Hall was hit and driven sideways at the 21. Owens again in on that tackle. And Mike Gooman down there, too.
Well, probably next to increased car sales, I think the people in the Motor City would like to see a long drive right here.
Well, you get the economics right in there, don't you? You're right, though. Detroit is a great football city. I'm thinking about the Bobby Lanes and the Christensens and Jim Davids and
They've been super the last 2 weeks too. Both games, Chicago and Green Bay, and Detroit's played well all season. Really, on the road they've lost some tough games, and they're 4-0 at home, 0-4 on the road. This was a key, important game for them.
Hipple back to throw, being charged by Cody Jones, throws it, complete the pass to number 87, Freddie Scott, to the 46-yard line. The clock is running, no timeouts left. Hipple trying to hurry him up.
Well, that's a nice play. Hipple stepped aside and ducked, and Cody Jones went right over his head. He just stood there firm in the pocket, a lot of poise, and picked out Freddie Scott going over the middle for a big play.
Hipple back to throw. He'll try to get it somehow stopped. Get it out of bounds. Overthrows Dave Hill. That'll stop the clock. Don't forget, immediately following this game, all the scores and highlights with Brent Musburger and Irv Cross, my old buddy, back in New York. So stay tuned. Jackie Slater, who moved from right tackle to left tackle, did a good job. They really settled down in that second half. The Ram offensive line earned their pay.
And Hill had Johnson about a step out to the corner, and it would have had to been a perfect throw. Just a little bit long. But they've been close on that play today. They've hit it a couple times, and Hipple's missed it a couple.
Billy Sims out of the backfield. Hipple going across the middle for Dave Hill. Closely guarded. Nolan Cromwell and Leroy Irvin in the vicinity.
Cromwell was waiting back there. Hipple threw a nice pass, though. Hill went up with one arm. I don't know if he could have got the second one up, but it was a close play, and that's what they're going to need to do, is they're going to have to hit something close, because LA's in a prevent, and you're just going to probably end up making a big play with a defensive back right next to the play. You're just not going to have anybody wide open.
Final score, Dallas 17, Philadelphia 14. Final score. Cowboys put a notch on the gun. Hipple back to throw. Good pass rush inside by Fanning, and he overthrows Dave Hill again with 1:03 left. And fourth down now facing the Lions.
Philadelphia 14.
Just announced that score in the stadium here, 17-14 Dallas, and there was a lot of boos.
Welcome to Anaheim, California. You people have been watching Dallas beat Philadelphia 17-14. It's 20-13, Rams over Detroit. Closing seconds in a minute. That's Hipple trying to hit. Nolan Cromwell makes the stop. He's trying to hit Freddie Scott.
Well,
The Rams broke out on top in the first quarter on a 69-yard run inside by the halfback for the Los Angeles Rams, Wendell Tyler. Then it was all Detroit for the second period and most of the third, and then suddenly the Rams got their defense after a Hipple, and Corral has kicked 2 field goals in this last half to sort of nail it away. Pat Hayden has been replaced by Rutledge, and Rutledge was taken off with a dislocated thumb, and now Dante Pastorini is the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, and it's just about over.
Well, that was
57 seconds left.
Hipple's last shot there, Tom. He had it fourth down. He hit Scott just previous to that to give him a chance, but he missed on that fourth down play, and they've come close all day trying to hit some big plays. They controlled the first half, but as you mentioned, the second half has been all Los Angeles.
Remember Los Angeles in '79 when they went to the Super Bowl? They only came out with a 9-7 record, but as a wild card, they got into the thing, and they played the heck out of people all the way down the trail, the last part of the season. The Lions will go to 4-5, and the Rams will go to 5-4. That's a swing.
The Lions are now 0-5 on the road, and they get in the confines of the Silverdome up there to 4-0. This was as was mentioned, a key game for the Detroit Lions, and at times today they looked like they were dominating, but you kept looking at the scoreboard, and they were always at the most a touchdown ahead, and it became costly, missing some field goals into that last quarter, and LA took over.
Very physical teams, both of these teams. There's nothing fancy, not much finesse. They like to bang each other. Malavasi's team wins. Hayden leaves. Executive producer Terry O'Neill, Charles H. Milton III. Produced by Michael Burks, and of course the pictures by Sandy Grossman. A big win for the Los Angeles Rams. Tom Brookshire for Roger Staubach from Anaheim, California. Now let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Do you think that Mike and Morley and Ed and all that gang will mind if we look at a little football on our way to 60 Minutes here tonight? Well, we have got some kind of tale unfolding in the National Football League. One of the most exciting Sundays that I can remember. The Atlanta Falcons, they were in a dogfight with the New Orleans Saints. And then the quarterback Steve Bartkowski said, Alfred Jenkins, let's light them up. And Irv Cross, indeed they did.
Well, what a day they had, Brent. Of course, this one goes to Jenkins for a 48-yard touchdown strike. He comes back again.
This one the 60-yarder, and before the day was over, Jenkins would catch 5 passes for 179 yards. He would score 3 touchdowns. He would break the all-time Falcon record for a single season. We're not even finished yet. That's touchdown number 11, Bartkowski to Jenkins. And the Falcons have been down, Irv Cross. They've been down in the mud. They go into New Orleans, and maybe they're as good as we thought they were when the season began.
They're an excellent football team. One of the big problems they had, though, Brent, believe it or not, has been on special teams play, not offense or defense. They wanted to improve special teams. What do? They wound up scoring 41 points today.
I know a lot of fans are wondering right now, hey, how did Big George Rogers do for the Saints? 15 carries for 20 yards, and unfortunately for the Saints and their fans, he did fumble. I think that's about the 6th time this season. The Falcons pounced on the ball, and they moved in. So the record's now, Atlanta is 5-4, and New Orleans slumps to 2-7 with that 41-10 decision. The battle for the Big Apple, the bragging rights to Manhattan. The Yankees don't have it. Mets don't have it. We got to give it to the New York Jets. They rolled all over the Giants this afternoon. Watch this fumble now by the Giants. And the Jets are going to recover it on their own 39-yard line. Alvin Garrett coughed it up. And Ray Perkins says, come on, guys. We got to forget Atlanta. We got to put our act together. What a beautiful play this is. Richard Todd to Wesley Walker.
Boy, Jet fans had to really like this because Wesley Walker's a great deep receiver. Hasn't had many opportunities this year. Gets that one.
Look at this. Giants get on the board. Look at how alertly, after the bobbled snap, Beasley Reese goes in on the fumble and scores. But Phil Simms had a long, tough afternoon. Here he is intercepted by Darrell Ray. What a player Ray has been for Walt Michaels and the Jets this year. He'll get a touchdown before this sequence is over. And near the end of the first half, the Giants went for a fake field goal. Would have put them right back in the action. They throw the ball over the middle, and here comes Ray out of nowhere, and he just bangs it out of sight. So Giants were overconfident. How do you figure the Giants, huh? They lose to the Packers at home. Now they lose to the Jets. Miami over Baltimore, 27-10. And Don Shula and the Dolphins stay atop now, the AFC East. But Burt Jones put a scare into him. Hit Don McCauley. Remember McCauley, 5-yard touchdown. But then David Woodley took charge. Irv, here he's going to Duriel Harris.
A lot of speed and great concentration. Harris makes his catch look easy. He's wide open for the score.
Now, after a Baltimore fumble, Woodley went to Ronnie Lee for 7 yards and a touchdown. And again, Miami beats Baltimore 27-10. The Colts are now 1-8, so they have lost 8 straight games. That is the first time in history that has happened to them. The fans down at Baltimore, well, they couldn't decide what to do this last week, so they said, we got to overload on potassium. So they sent a whole lot of bananas out there to that football team. Better yet, they send them some defensive backs and some defensive ends down there in Baltimore. And now poor McCormick has got to be in serious trouble. Irv, I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy the Greek mentioned Frank Kush, George Allen the last couple of weeks. One of those coaches winds up in Baltimore.
Well, there could very well be a coaching change in Baltimore. It's unfortunate, too, because Mike McCormick is an excellent offensive mind. He does a great job with his offensive line. They just haven't been able to get in the win column. And how do you put your finger on it?
Oh, the defense has really been a problem down there as they lose again. Tampa Bay over Chicago, 20-10 was the final score there. How'd Big Doug Williams do as a quarterback? He was only 9 at 20, but folks, I want to show you a couple of the 9. Here's one to Jimmy Giles. Get going there, you big tight end. 81 yards for the score, and Doug wasn't quite finished. Kevin House, who's having a sensational season for the Buccaneers, gets going, and this will be a 51-yarder, and Tampa Bay opened up on Chicago, a team they had lost to 5 straight times. Walter Payton's had such a frustrating year rushing. Can't get the holes. He says, let me throw the ball for a change. And it goes to Bashnagel, and it is just tipped away by Neil Colsey. and that was it. But Peyton did get over 9,000 yards in his fabulous career, and he vaulted over the entire Buccaneer defense to get the touchdown too little too late. And the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
You can get this Xerox desktop copier for just how much?
It lists for $29.95.
Just $29.95 for the quality and reliability.
Look, it could be a couple hundred less with trade-in.
Just $27.95 for
Many trade-ins run around $500.
Just $24.95.
Trade-ins go as high as $1,000 or more.
Just $19.95.
They also help you finance it at low interest rates.
Get this Xerox copier for just $29.95 and down. Find out how far down, call Xerox.
I didn't bother you, did I?
Ed's been working overtime practicing his serve. He needs a deodorant that works overtime.
My boss is working overtime on a big presentation. He needs the deodorant that works overtime.
Only Old Spice Stick Deodorant gives you both 24-hour protection from odor, plus that famous Old Spice scent.
My son's been working overtime practicing his saves.
Good thing my Old Spice Stick works overtime, too.
Old Spice Stick, the deodorant that works overtime.
You don't need a haircut, Jim. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream's so concentrated, just a little dab keeps hair healthy looking and in control all day. Look, I'll put a little dab of Brill Cream here. Nothing here. See? Even with the hair blower, the Brill Cream side doesn't fly around. Without Brill Cream, hair flies around. Terrific.
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Coming up on CBS Sports Saturday, Championship Boxing. Next weekend, the champion, Michael Spinks, is undefeated. Now he faces the challenge of highly ranked Bonzel Johnson for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. And in 3 weeks, he is considered by some as one of the greatest fighters ever. The awesome Alexis Arguello, fresh from his victory over Boom Boom Mancini. Now he's back in action against the formidable punching attack of Roberto Elizondo for the WBC Lightweight Championship. The champions here on CBS Sports.
That is next Saturday on CBS, and of course, still ahead of us here this evening, 60 Minutes. Every Which Way But Loose, that marvelous Clint Eastwood movie. And as Tom Brookshire pointed out in the Ram game, don't miss the chimpanzee. He's the co-star, and we've got the Jeffersons tonight. So we have got something for everybody coming up, including the football fans. We've got some more highlights we want to show you before we go to 60 Minutes. Cincinnati over Houston, 34-21 was the final score. Earl Campbell was injured in that game. Kenny Stabler was injured. Watch this, though, before the snake was hurt. Here comes Mike Renfro. Wasn't that a pretty play for a touchdown, and Houston moved ahead of the Bengals, and then the Bengals got going. Pete Johnson. We're going to ask Irv about Forrest Gregg here in a minute. Ken Anderson going to go to Dan Ross for a touchdown. See the yellow flag? Didn't matter. Interference. He got the 6 anyway. Now that marvelous rookie Chris Collinsworth going to catch one from Anderson. 24-7. They made it look easy. Anderson's got one more touchdown pass in his bag of tricks. He goes to Ross, 14 yards, and it was, just a rout. And tell me, Forrest Gregg had so much trouble with the athletes in Cleveland. How has he now been able to circle back into Cincinnati and communicate with that team?
You know, Brent, Forrest Gregg, from my point of view, is a player's coach. And one of the things he wanted to establish in Cincinnati was mental and physical toughness. He's a proud man, and he wanted to establish that kind of an attitude in his ball club, and they reacted to him. They're first in their division right now, and they feel they deserved it, and they want to stay there.
Irv, you know, he was a disciple of the great Vince Lombardi. He was an offensive tackle, and so was the same kind of discipline. A lot of veterans on the Cleveland team, a lot of youngsters on the Bengals team. Are the youngsters more apt to accept discipline from a football coach than a veteran player?
I think they are. There's no question about it, Brent. They want leadership. And Forrest Gregg has that. He's an imposing man physically. He's a very direct person when he talks to you. He knows what he wants to get done. And, of course, the ball players respond to that kind of approach.
All right. And now their record is 7-3 after that win today, 34-21. How about the Buffalo Bills? 22-13 over Cleveland. We talk about Forrest Gregg. How about Chuck Knox? He just quietly goes about his business and gets a job done. Joe Cribbs on the receiving end of this bomb from Joe Ferguson. 58 yards, but they missed the extra point. Bad snap. Might have hurt him. Brian Sipe coming on back to one of the finest tight ends in all of football, Ozzie Newsome. and it was 15-13 Buffalo. But one more time, Ferguson is going to go to Cribbs. And Cribbs caught 5 passes for 163 yards. He scored 3 touchdowns on the afternoon. So Buffalo's record now is 7-3. Green Bay over Seattle, 34-24. The storyline there, David Whitehurst steps in for the injured Lynn Dickey, and he did a fine job this afternoon against the Seahawks. Not early. Watch this. John Harris is going to snap this ball off, and he's going to run it back. 42 yards for a touchdown. Ooh, Jack Patera's in trouble out in Seattle, isn't he, Irv?
No doubt about it, Ben. But, of course, this play had to make him smile. Patera, again, is basically a defensive coach, real tough-minded guy. Likes to play that kind of defense with his ball club. And, of course, Whitehurst comes back later, scrambles down to the 1-yard line.
Almost got in. What a lick he took. You're not a halfback, big fella. This time, get over to the corner and get one of those big guys to block for you. And he gets in. That tied it. And then Whitehurst went to James Lofton for 39 yards. And John Jefferson is saying, bring back Fouts, somebody who finds me instead of number 80 out there. But the Packers roll on the afternoon. Whitehurst was 19 of 31 for 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Big game. San Francisco and Pittsburgh. When the day began, a lot of folks said, are the 49ers for real? I think indeed we have answered that question. Joe Montana had not given up an interception, over 100 passes thrown. And then this one came. Mel Blount scooped it up. He went into the end zone. And the Steelers were back in it, trailing by a field goal. Montana then came back with another bad pass. And it was Jack Lambert who scooped this one up. And he got back to the 22-yard line, and it was shades of all those Super Bowl victories by the Steelers. But on the next play, Terry Bradshaw just lit up the scoreboard. He hit Jim Smith. Lynn Swan, not in big injury. See all the time that Bradshaw had? That put the Steelers up by 4, and you thought it was going to be easy. Watch what happens. Watch Walt Easley battle on into the end zone, and San Francisco wins it 17-14. And next week, it is Atlanta and San Francisco. Let's give you the rest of the scores now. Los Angeles, of course, has downed Detroit. Dan Pastorini finishes up at quarterback. Pat Hayden was benched, and Jeff Rutledge was injured. So the Rams win that one 20-13. Oakland over New England marks the return of Van Egan, and the final was 27-17. Washington now against St. Louis, and the final has just gone up 42-21. So all of the scores are now final that we have. San Diego pulls one out of the closing seconds, 22-20. Rolf Bernerski kicks a field goal with just 13 seconds to go, and the Chargers pull one out on Kansas City, but Kansas City tougher than anyone expected. And, of course, Dallas over Philadelphia, 17-14, and now the Cowboys and the Eagles are all tied in the NFC East. And so from all of us at CBS Sports, have a nice week. We'll see you next Saturday. Michael Spinks and Fonzel Johnson. So long, everybody.
You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Be sure to watch a fascinating edition of 60 Minutes, the popular television news magazine that features Mike Wallace, Morley Safer, Harry Reasoner, and Ed Bradley this evening on CBS.